upgrade. Save up to 50% off plus 0 interest for 5 years. Visit windownation.com for your free consultation today. Only mistake Guardians starter Tanner Bybee made, giving up an RBI single in the top of the 5th. However, it would be enough. Tampa Bay wins 1-0. Bobby goes 5 innings, gives up just that 1 run, 4 hits, struck out 6. Skipper Stephen Bone on the job Bobby did despite the lack of help.
Tanner was outstanding. They got his pitch count up. They did a nice job fouling a lot of pitches off. Had a little trouble putting guys away at times, but also put guys away at times. So I thought, Tanner against a pesky lineup held him to 1 run through 5. Pitch count was up. That was the only reason he came out. So Tanner did an outstanding job.
Guardians lose their 4th in a row. They managed only 4 base hits. They've dropped 5 of 6. Travis Bazzana made his big league debut 0 for 2 with a pair of walks. Cavaliers continue their opening round playoff series tonight back home as they take on the Toronto Raptors. Game 5, Cavs and Raptors knotted up at 2 games apiece. The home team won every game so far in the series. Cavs looking to bounce back. They lost Sunday in Toronto 93-89, got outscored 17-5 to close out the game. NBA playoffs, first round action last night in the Eastern Conference. Philadelphia wins at Boston 113-97. Joel Embiid 33 points. Sixers stay alive. Tyrese Maxey double-double, 25 points, 10 rebounds. Despite the loss, Celtics still lead the series 3-2. Also in the East, the Knicks beat up on Atlanta 126-97. Jalen Brunson 39 points. Knicks now lead the series 3-2. New York can clinch the series with a win down in Atlanta tomorrow night. In the West, San Antonio knocking off Portland 114-95. Victor Wembanyama 17 points, 14 rebounds, 6 block shots. Spurs take the series 4-1. De'Aaron Fox led the Spurs with 21 points, 13 coming in the 4th quarter. San Antonio reaching the second round of the playoffs for the first time since 2017. Browns signing fullback Michael Burton on Tuesday. He's entering his 12th NFL season this fall. Burton spent the last 3 years with the Broncos, also won a Super Bowl when he played with the Kansas City Chiefs. You can now find 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Get the best content from our shows each and every weekday. That's 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas. Up next time for the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima here on 92.3 The Fan.
Get primed for the Cavs playoffs on your ride home. The Afternoon Drive. Weekdays starting at 2. Cleveland's Sports Radio. 92.3 The Fan. The Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima.
Well, that's the ball game. Guardians once again for the second night in a row get an opportunity late, can't cash in. And so the skid continues. Cleveland has lost 4 in a row and 6 out of 8.
Yeah, I thought we played excellent defense. Like I said, I thought we pitched well. Timmy Herron, what a job he did. 5 outs in that game. It's not easy pitching down 1. You feel like you really got to keep it close when it's a 1-0 game. And for Timmy, Connor, and Peyton, all 3 of them giving us 4 innings of shutout relief, keeping us in that game, giving us a chance to win. I thought those were some excellent, the defense and pitching was outstanding. Tanner was outstanding. They got his pitch count up. They did a nice job fouling a lot of pitches off. Had a little trouble putting guys away at times, but also put guys away at times. So I thought, Tanner against a pesky lineup held him to 1 run through 5. Pitch count was up. That was the only reason he came out. So Tanner did an outstanding job.
This is Cleveland's Sports Radio. 92.3 The Fan.
Well, good morning.
Morning, Kenny.
Audio courtesy of Guardians TV. And not a good weekend. It's continuing into Wednesday. This has been a good run. Hadn't been a good run for us. Got to get it going, man, with the bats. Got to get it going. This is not good. Tanner Bybee, I was concerned about Tanner Bybee at the beginning of the season, and now Tanner Bybee has certainly turned it on, and they can't get the bats going. And I'm not going to freak out because it's still just the end of April, but man, we got to get the bats going here. This is ridiculous. This is re-damn day.
What's
they have
the
scored
opposite?
7 runs in 4 games in this losing streak.
What's the opposite of scoregami?
I don't know. I barely know what scoregami is.
Scoregami in the NFL, anytime a score comes up, and you'll see it on social media, that has never been a score in the history of the
I can't believe there's still scores that haven't been scores in the history of the NFL.
It seems like every week
that's unbelievable.
There's a scoregami. But in baseball, that's an impossibility because we've seen every single score, and I think there are even mock scoregami sites. The reason I say,
yeah, please,
I'll bring this to the attention of the show. 1-0 Tampa Bay, Cleveland. It feels like it has to be the most frequent score between these two teams over the last however many years.
No, Tampa Bay put a run on the board, and Camino, I looked at Twitter, and Camino was like, why does it feel like it's 1,000-0? And this is you
Since
cannot.
Kevin Cash has been there, it feels like that is the deal, right?
God. you can't surmount the lead. And I'm like, man, this has got to be one of the most frustrating teams we play. And they've won 6 in a row, so they're good. No one's saying that the Rays are bad. But I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, my God, every time we play this team, and you're kind of going through a run like Loud. Last week you had Houston. We never seemed to do very well against Houston. Then you have this. It's like, man, this schedule sucks. Now, it sounds like I'm freaking out because I'm a loud person. I'm not freaking out. I saw some of the people starting to want the hitting coach fired, which I thought was a little bit premature. It's still only April 29th. Happy birthday to Dale Earnhardt, the late great one.
You could thank the Boston Red Sox for decimating their coaching staff early on. So anything is possible. Does that make people think
of things? Does that make
people
think
of? Yes, it does. Oh, yeah.
And Rob Thompson got fired by the Phillies, so then they're starting to think they maybe well, wait a minute. We're one game under 500, which isn't good. We're not 9-19 and have lost 11-12 like the Phillies did when they fired their manager.
Well, I remember about a week ago, I was like, man, it's crazy. The Guardians actually being the top half of the league and a lot of the offensive numbers, and that went the other way. If you had the slide whistle, this would be the time to play the slide whistle, Kenny, because it is plummeted. They're basically bottom 5 now in almost every statistical metric. Home runs, remember, home runs, they were 8th, and now they're down halfway. They're 15.
Yeah, you got to pull it out
16.
for it to go lower.
So all the numbers have gone south in a hurry, and obviously there's so many young guys that they're trying to incorporate into the lineup. I mean, between Valera, obviously DeLauder. We ever going to see a home run out of him again?
Bobby was good.
Yeah, there you go.
They didn't score any runs.
What about bullpen? Pretty good.
We had a fly out with bases loaded in the bottom of the 8th.
I thought the Jose one was going to have a chance.
So did everybody that was there, it sounded like.
It didn't.
The guy stopped short of the track.
Got to see a lot of Bazzana family yesterday on the broadcast.
Uh-oh, this thing ain't breaking on me, is it?
Oh,
no. Oh, there you go. No, I just got to play it harder.
Like they used to.
They don't build the slide whistles like they used to.
Gotta lube it up.
You've been sliding too much.
Yeah. Well, I get the fever and I just got to play. I'm like,
get some valve oil.
Like Ian Anderson and Jethro Tull over here. I just got to do it.
My father-in-law's got a spray for every situation.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Every single one.
Do you have
I just thought there was one spray that handled everything. No.
Do you have a box of sprays and oils in your garage?
I think my father-in-law's got to deliver one.
Do you have to?
And then those things seem good for life.
Yeah, they are.
He's got some from the 70s, I swear.
I've never
got a
seen
can of White Lightning that's been around since 1994.
My buddy Jim, I needed some starter fluid a few weeks ago, and my buddy Jim brought it, and he's like, this is from Medic. And I go, I've never seen a new can of starter fluid. Out in the wild. I might have walked by one at an auto parts store or something like that. I've never seen a brand new can of starter fluid.
How does the company stay afloat?
It's always rusty.
How were sales last year? Well, damn it, the ones we sold in the 80s are too good.
They're still using them, We're still Well, you and I are the only employees left, so I mean, I don't know. I don't even know who's manufacturing
Bob
these
had
things.
a great 14-month run back in the day. He was living large. He's like, man, things have dipped in the economy and gas prices and eggs.
Starter fluid, it's still the same, man. It don't move, don't nothing. You mentioned a Cavs malaise kind of thing with the Guardians. You got to explain this. I don't think it's the same, but I need you to explain this.
So obviously the story all year with the Cavs is, wake me up when the playoffs start. We know they're going to make the playoffs. There's nothing they can do in the regular season. It doesn't particularly matter the seeding. Yeah, you'd like to avoid certain teams, but in the end, it's about making sure you're hitting your groove at the end of the year and all that stuff and staying healthy. For the Guardians, when you erase, was it 15 and a half?
Correct.
Game deficit last year?
That was the largest deficit that they had.
How can you get worked up over anything? Because they've done it. I have so much supreme confidence in this team that no matter how bad their offense is, no matter who's scuffling, no matter what, they've earned the benefit of the doubt. So at no point am I going to be like, this season's over.
Well, I think you're right, but I don't think that you mentioned the term, and the term is a strong term. Mm-hmm. When you say Cavs malaise for the Guardians, I don't think it. I really don't think it's that way in the game of baseball. Baseball,
they play twice as many games.
I understand that, but there might be some I think there's maybe more frustration because, like the Cavs, there's an expectation for the Cavs. I don't know if the Guardians, I'm trying to work my emotions through it. The Guardians don't have the same type of expectations because at the end of it, it's like, well, the Cavs are the most expensive roster in the NBA. So you can hold them to a standard going, hey, you're like the Dodgers of the NBA. What the hell are we doing here? Like, you can do that with the Cavs. With the Guardians, it just turns into the conversation that we don't want to have. We don't like having it. Where it just turns into the ownership and their willingness to spend money and what they're willing to do and why they're not willing to bring up guys and everything that seems to be to pinch a penny. Like, those are tired conversations that you and I have. But I still think because of that feeling that ownership just won't do enough, there are people who just give up on it and wipe their hands of the whole thing and say they're done. But there's also this, like, there's this fire that burns for a fan. Like, why won't you do more when we have some talent here? Why won't you do more when we get it there? And I do think that for a lot of Guardians fans, like during the year, the ones that are very hardcore during the season, when the gatekeeper fans, and I know that's a tough term, but let me use it here. The gatekeeper fans who are baseball first fans that are like, oh, you casuals, you guys just go away when we're down by 15 games in the Central Division. Like, those are the ones that are going to be keeping score. There's passion there. I don't get a lot of that, even though, like, a couple months ago, which, boy, you guys got upset about this, so I can't imagine what you guys are going to think when you hear what Draymond Green had to say. And what else was said by Kevin O'Connor yesterday? My God. The pile-on that's going on. Like, when the Cavs were called soft, and there are Cavs fans going, how dare you call this team soft? And I go, guys, guess what they're being called right now in a 2-2 series. So there is a little bit there, but I don't think there's as much with the Guardians. It's a longer season. It's a every single day type of thing for them. And I just don't think you get the same type of feeling because of the expectations, because of the money that's put on for both these rosters. I think that there is a difference. I don't think I did not catch this year. Absolutely, there was a Cavs malaise. I did not catch the same type of malaise last year where they were coming off a Central Division crown, and it's like, whoop-de-doo, just get another Central Division crown, or the Central Division title is not good enough for us. There was still some excitement. Now, part of that might be because they came back from 15.5 down, and I don't remember the feeling of what it was like before they came back from that amount of games that they were down. Maybe that has to play into it a little bit, but I'm just going with what I think I feel from the fan base. There's frustration with the fan base right now because nobody likes a team that can't hit. Nobody does. I mean, I understand that the 90s Indians really couldn't pitch, with the exception of a couple of guys, but it wasn't deep enough. But that team, I mean, you had 1,000 runs scored in 1996. I mean, people just love offense. People find offense entertaining, and you look at that lineup, and you see the pitching that we have. Like, Tanner Bybee settled in, and Tanner Bybee had another good outing last night. Parker Messick might be a Cy Young winner by the time the end of the season is here. I understand we're only at the end of April, but he's as promising as anything we found. Gavin Williams, as long as he stays healthy, he can be a really great pitcher for us. And again, you know how much I like Joey Cantillo as a guy who can go out there, eat innings, and keep you moving forward within your rotation. I don't have that much faith in Slade Ciccone, but 4 out of 5 ain't that terribly bad. The starting rotation's fine. I do think the bullpen has some problems. Now, there's been some people who've been truthers about that and go, nah, it's not as much of a problem as you think it is. Okay, but when it comes to the lineup, you got new guys coming in, and when you have new guys coming in, like, we're excited about the Lauder. We're excited about Bazzana. Bazzana hits, like Bazzana goes up to the plate last night. Well, you're still going to have guys who are young, and they got to figure out what's going to happen. So they're scuffling a little bit. So some of this, we don't need to be cracking the you-know-what crust over this. Like, some of this is, I hate to say it, some of it's to be expected. When you got young guys like that, I mean, you got 2 rookies playing for you right now. That eventually they're going to expect something out of Bazzana every single day. Just like when DeLauder starts off so strong, now people are going, well, Ken, when's he going to hit a home run? You made such a big deal about this guy. When's he going to hit a home run? When's the next home run he's going to hit? I'm sure it's in the back of his head, which bothers me, but this is what you're going to have with young guys.
Yeah, young guy. I'm not, but that's the thing. I'm not worried about any of that. I think that's by kind of design of the team when you have young guys that are going to be counted on. But again, because of the pitching, because of the organization, because of the manager, and because of what they did last year, I'm trying to consider what would actually get me to lose my mind. What would have to be the losing streak, right? Or what would have to be, how many series in a row would they have to lose?
Because of their history?
For me to actually get worked up enough to say, oh, no, this is going down a disastrous path. Like, when you do what they pulled off last year, it's just not going to be something I'm going to lose my mind on.
I'm trying to think of a scenario where I would be out here fire and brimstone with the Guardians, and I can't see it. Like the Mets fans are Mets fans. Like somebody said last night.
But they have zero faith in their organization.
Yeah. But like a Cleveland guy from Barstool was like, the Guardians are going to turn me into Frank the Tank. I go, I can't see a scenario ever where I turn and I have a Frank the Tank.
We say
meltdown.
The season's over in game 1, seventh inning.
I can't see a scenario with the Guardians where I have a Frank the Tank meltdown. Like in my life, I can't see it.
If they spent $300 million on their payroll, maybe
that's the only way. But how am I going to sit here and yell at them and say like when Francisco Lindor's making $35 million and isn't running out ground balls and is falling asleep on the base pass? Turn on the mic and let him have it. Absolutely let him have it. The highest paid guy on this team is Jose Ramirez, and I'll talk trash about blood relatives before I say anything about Jose Ramirez. You're crazy. So other than that, who else can I go after? Like, you are so right about that. Juan Soto, $735 or $65 million. The guy's basically a billionaire now, and didn't talk to his teammates for 12 games that he was out. And people were like, well, they deserve it, or he's a bad teammate, or whatever. Like, the vibes are terrible over there. But you see the Guardians like, yeah, it's a rough stretch. It's been a bad 4 days, and hopefully we can get it going today and hopefully start something new today during the day. Like, that's all you get to, because your faith has been tested so many times by a younger team that does it the Guardians way, and they've really answered it almost every time. Almost every time that you've questioned,
I talk all the time.
Questioned, they answer the call.
When it comes to the teams in town, people will always ask, "Why are you negative on the Browns? Why are you positive on the Guardians?"
I think it's just when you're listening. Different days.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it'll go up and down. It's a roller coaster of sports emotion, but it's about earning credibility. It's about earning respect, and you earn a pass. The Guardians, for me, will earn a pass over time. I'll probably be harder on the Browns. I think the proof is in the pudding. Like, I think that's pretty explainable, pretty logical.
216-474-0092. But I don't see there being a malaise to it. It's not a great start. But again, if I just look at the Central, maybe the Central, if there is a malaise, the malaise is not like they don't care. They'll watch, but maybe the malaise is like, just the first round or second round of the playoffs isn't good enough for Cavs fans. Mm-hmm. Because you can see what happens. Like, I think they'll win tonight. Are they still 9-point favorites?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to get to the Cavs here in just a moment, I promise. But, like, I think they'll win tonight. I think they could end up winning on Friday and just end the series. But if Orlando closes out Detroit, there's going to be a whole different set of circumstances for a lot of fans out there. Like, then it turns into, we need to – I don't think you're going to really get that with Guardians fans, but like, is it not enough for some to just win the division? Because the division, everybody's under 500. Everybody's either 500 or below. The Tigers are 500 right now. They're at the top, a half a game ahead of the Guardians, which is crazy considering that I think in one other division here, and then I'm getting very nitty gritty. I know about this. But where in the National League Central, everybody's over 500. Everybody's over 500 in the National League Central. In the American League Central, everybody's either 500 or below. So it's like, okay, if you win the division, but if you win a bad division, is that going to mean as much to you? To me, it still matters.
I think it's baked in, though.
You make the postseason, you get a chance. So absolutely, it matters to win the Central. But I don't know. Maybe some people are going to be choosy, like it's the same as winning the NFC South for many years. 216-474-0092. I still think it's going to be a big deal, but I want to see. This is a question you can't answer on April 29th, but I want to see how if the season plays out the way you think it's going to play out, like if the Guardians have a 6-game lead and a bad Central, where there'll still be people who are questioning, or will they look at it in a different light like we have over the past couple of decades of winning the Central, where it's still an accomplishment, still a big thing. Coming up at 8 o'clock, we'll go around the AFC North. Jason Lloyd going to join us at 9 o'clock. Is tonight the biggest night of Donovan Mitchell's career? I'm not sure about that, but I know that it's a big night for a couple of other of his teammates because they are getting called out on the carpet by some big NBA names. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, take us with you to work on that absolutely free Odyssey app.
XTENDAV.com.
can hear the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima, Basket and Phelps, an afternoon drive with Nick Wilson and Jonathan Peterlin as a podcast. Full hours, full shows. Find it all on the Odyssey app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere you get your podcasts.
Coming up at 8 o'clock, around the AFC North, Lima, ask me one of the toughest questions you've asked me, because we are getting ready for Game 5 tonight with your Cleveland Cavaliers. Go ahead and ask me. Go ahead and ask me if I care.
Is this the biggest game, the biggest day of Donovan Mitchell's life?
Not career, life.
Life, yeah, because he doesn't have kids.
And he's not married.
He's not married.
Well, they still have a chance if they lose today.
No, they don't. No.
Wait, yes, they
Kenny,
do.
They.
Yes, they do.
No, they do not.
They're the better team. Yes, they do. Okay. If they lose, I'm not going to be happy. Obviously, nobody's going to be happy. But the series isn't.
I'm not going to watch Game 6.
Oh, yes, you will.
If they lose,
yes,
tonight.
You will.
I will go watch something else. I will go put a nice movie on.
No. Wait a minute. You can't sit there and call everybody else casual and say you're a ball knower and then say you're not going to watch Game 6.
That'll be the end.
No, you can't do that. You can't do that. You got to watch Game 6 if they lose tonight. You can't not do that. You're the one who's got to host next week. I won't be here.
Do I?
I won't be like Magic Johnson if they lose. I ain't going to be here, so you guys
I'm starting
deal
to
with
feel it in the throat right now, and this is the normal start of things, and in about 6 days, 5 days.
The word coward has been thrown around way too much on this station this week. If you don't watch Game 6,
He's
you coward.
He is a true coward.
I will stand outside like say anything with the TV of Game 6 of your house and make you watch that.
Oh, yeah. I think you should. It's not over if they lose tonight. Now, I don't want to sit here and have an argument about if they lose tonight, because that just sounds defeatist, and that's not where I wanted to take this, but I'm surprised that so many people think the series is over if they lose tonight. They're still the better team, guys. Sunday was a bleep show of monumental proportions. They should have won a sloppy basketball game. It was extra sloppy, but they're still the better team.
We've been doing this, they're the better team with them, though, for a few years.
Sure.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I thought they were the better team
I'm holding them
last
to a
year.
standard.
I thought they were the better team against the Magic, and that series had no business going 7.
Just throw out the phrase, though, they're still the better team, and be confident in them the way they've performed.
I'm not trying to hold them, I'm not trying to hide behind them. I'm trying to hold them to a standard here. You're the better basketball team. That means I'm not going to freak out tonight if they lose the game. I don't think they're going to lose the series if they lose the game tonight. They do got to get their stuff figured out, obviously, because they'd be down 3-2 and they've lost 3 straight to Toronto. But I don't think it's going to happen that way. So basically, tonight is the series to you. If they win or lose tonight, that's the end of the series.
I kind of feel that way. I think this is the decider, and the reason.
Well, hell, I thought we were going to ask about Donovan Mitchell, but this is a big damn deal here.
Well, the reason that is because there have been a few times in this series I've expected them to come out and make a statement. I said halftime of Game 3 where it looked like Toronto had figured some of your stuff out, and it was like, all right, Cavs need to show that they're the better team. But then things went south in a hurry, obviously, in the fourth quarter, and it looked like they ended up getting blown out when, it was a very different game for most of it. I was actually okay. All right, it's a series. It's the NBA. We don't overreact to these things. Mm-hmm. Then in Game 4, to see the difficulty for Donovan and James Harden in the half court, to see the fact that basically they're not guarding 3 of your guys at all times, and because of that, James and Donovan, their pick and roll stuff has been kind of useless because there are these freak athletes just sitting there in the paint that are long-limbed and have some girth to them.
Hold the Donovan conversation off here. I'm going to get back to that at 6:40 because
all the stuff that I thought going into the series, I kind of had a lot of it hinge on. Yeah, Evan Mobley's going to be able to outplay some of their bigs because on paper I had no reason to believe otherwise going in. But then all the ghosts of Cavalier playoff pass. This is why I gave credit yesterday to Nick. he never had faith in this Cavs team, and I said, well, this is different
he still
this
thinks
year.
they're going to win the series.
But
that's what I want to hit on.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off here.
Yeah.
That's what I want to hit on. See, this is where I'm frustrated. None of us know this team. None of us know them. They don't even know themselves. Nick, who has been ripping on this team all year, saying how he doesn't take them seriously, almost laughing at them all year. They're up 2-0 in the series. He guaranteed a sweep last week. Okay, I got you over here who's saying people don't watch basketball, non-ball knowers, rubbing their nose in the fact that they don't watch one of the 3 biggest sports here in this city. And now it's the doom and gloom. My dog just died if we end up losing this game, that you're saying you won't even watch Game 6. I mean, let's call it what it is. This has been a team that has struggled to find identity, and some of it's natural. You bring in James Harden halfway through the year, that's going to be natural.
Big shakeup.
But I think people are tired of hearing me talk about patty cakes with them. I mean, yeah, there's a lot that's on the line today. And if they lose tonight, I'm still going to hold them to a standard that you are the better team. You better figure out a way to win it, because in the words of Apollo Creed, there is no tomorrow. Like, if they don't win this series, I might have to call in from the boat or something like that, because next week is going to be ridiculous for this team, for this fan base, for this organization. And I think for a lot of fans, it's going to be like, fine, go get the hell out of here. I can get a bunch of other guys and lose in the first round of the NBA playoffs here. Because what this is, it's frustrating me that I am hearing you and another coworker who is a friend of mine take these huge hell hacks one way or the other about the team or the fans of the team or the media covering the team, and none of you have been right. None of you have been right. You haven't been right. Nick hasn't been right. The callers who have been
Nick, well,
one way or the other, they
Nick
haven't
has
been right.
Wait,
When's he been right?
I got to stand up for Nick in one regard.
He just said that he guaranteed a sweep last week.
I know, but I will stand up for Nick that Nick has kind of been adamant that when you punch this team in the mouth, things change in a hurry. And when they were up 2-0,
so then he must have not said, should have kept his mouth shut on that, because I see a guy trying to hit a moving target on what it is, and I see another guy trying to hit a moving target on what it is. So you two should be as frustrated as anybody about this. I'll call you both out for. I'm not even trying to call you both out. I'm calling the Cavs out for it.
I am kind of interested here. Yeah, that Ken is taking shots at us.
Well, you're
all
watching
the
the
things
games.
But what about the actual basketball team that you've even said most expensive roster in the NBA? And you were supposed to come up with all this playoff experience, is something I thought was going to be a big check mark in
you should be mad at them.
In their direction.
You should both be mad at them, because they're making you both look like fools at separate times during the year. I mean, let's be honest. Nick, who's sitting there ripping on the team like crazy and then guarantees a sweep 2 games in, they've made him look like a total moron. And for you, they've made you look like a total moron over here. So I'm not really even ripping you guys. You guys should just be mad at the team for putting you in this position.
What bothers me the most is I watched the Boston Celtics. I watched the entire game last night, and I saw the worst version of the Boston Celtics I've seen in 5-6 years. That was part of the calculus of me being so excited about the postseason. Then I watched Detroit. Detroit could get eliminated. Now, this is interesting. They start their game a half hour before ours tonight. And believe me, the Cavs have no business scoreboard watching anything. But you can bet if Orlando is up in the fourth quarter by 15-20 and they're putting, their final finishing touches on this Detroit team, and I'm going to be sitting there, we're in a war with Toronto. I'm going to be like, what a wasted opportunity. We should be moving on. We should be so excited about the rest of the East.
I understand.
The Knicks kind of got going again finally in their series, and CJ McCollum came back down to earth. But the Knicks, their team, their fans are totally down on the state of affairs for the Knicks. And we're sitting here. This is why I was excited. I was so pumped, because I knew all year that the Eastern Conference was up for grabs, and they got Tatum back. I'm like, I don't know if we're as good as Boston. But every time I watch Boston, I'm like, that team, they are nothing like the Boston Celtics teams I've been afraid of years past.
It makes it even worse if they lose. So I will admit, I'm just holding them to a higher standard here. I'm not going to come in here. I don't know. I imagine I'm not going to come in here. And if they win tonight, I'm going to be excited, and I'm going to say the series is over. If they lose tonight, I'm going to be very upset, but I cannot imagine they're going to sit there and roll over and die.
I think if they lose tonight, they will. I cannot
accept for them to roll over and die against the Toronto Raptors when they are up 2-0 in a series. I don't mean, and I know I sounded mean. You can deal with the meanness. Nick isn't here to defend himself. I'm just saying you should both be mad at the Cavs, because I think over the last week they both made you look like complete fools. That's how I am. And I'll give you guys credit for standing on what you believe and saying what you believe at the time you believe it. But this has been a team that it's like nailing jelly to a wall to try to figure out exactly who they are. You guys should be livid with them. Absolutely livid.
And I think you can hear it in my
I'm over here
voice.
kind of pussyfooting around. I don't know what to make of them.
I think you can kind of hear it in my voice, and I really do believe, like, this is the first time Donovan Mitchell, his entire career, okay, he can't get out of the second round, but they haven't been mean about it. It's just been like, yeah, but his teams haven't been great. Yeah, they've been great regular season teams, but he's authored up these amazing playoff moments. You can't put it on him when he's scoring 40 and 50. This series and the way he played up in Toronto, that was some of the worst basketball I've seen in Donovan Mitchell's playoff career, back to back.
You bring him
Tonight
up,
is a pretty damn big game for the legacy of Donovan Mitchell.
I'm glad you brought it up because is this the biggest day of Donovan Mitchell's life? Lima may have a point. I tell you what, there's somebody else that there's some big names taking swings at one of his teammates. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, a Hall of Famer, saying some nasty things about Jared Allen coming up in 5 minutes on The Fan. Friends,
To learn more, contact Rivian Mental Health and Recovery at 440-989-4900 or visit rivionhealth.org.
So far, so good as you're making your way into downtown Cleveland on a Wednesday morning. Jeff Thomas, Odyssey Cleveland Traffic.
Don't trust anybody with your Cavs playoff coverage unless they have sports in their name. We are Cleveland's Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
A lot of people talking a lot of trash about a lot of these Cleveland Cavaliers, and it's a big night for Donovan Mitchell, possibly the biggest night of his life, not career of his life. But there's some trash being talked. But I think it hits home when you hear from Draymond Green. First, here's Kevin O'Connor. This is the Kevin O'Connor show on Yahoo. Says Evan Mobley and the Cavs are soft.
Evan Mobley, I didn't think he should have won Defensive Player of the Year last year. I didn't vote for him. I voted for Amen Thompson. This year, he's even worse defensively. He's not as great, I should say, as he was last year. How does Cleveland, you talk about the hustle aspect, right? Mm-hmm. If you have a so-called Defensive Player of the Year, your team shouldn't be this bad defensively. But he is just not a tone setter on the defensive end of the floor for Cleveland. How do you not have a defensive rebound in the final 6 minutes of the game? That seems impossible. How?
I get very annoyed by Kevin O'Connor. I also have to admit when he's right. He's right. Evan Mobley was talking tough yesterday. Here's Evan. Here's the sheriff.
Focus on the process. I think still in a good spot. We have home court advantage in this game, and just
don't do it on.
Be positive. Me personally, definitely got to be more aggressive. Attack the paint as much as possible. He's doing the hell out of it.
Yeah, you think we're not getting sheriff today? It's happening, brother.
You're only contributing to this.
Game day.
We're supposed to be building up his confidence.
Yeah. It's been 5 years, man. You got to build up your own damn confidence. I got to take the gloves off at some point.
That tunnel tonight to hear this in his head.
Someone's got to remind him that he was the reigning defensive player of the year.
Did you hear after the first two games the stuff I was saying that Keith's trying to throw back in my face right now? Going, it's not just on Nick and on Anthony, Ken. It's on you as well. And I go, you know what, Keith, you're right. I said a lot of strong stuff about Evan Mobley and how he was turning and finally becoming the player that we thought he was after the first two games of the series. Now it's a 2-2 series. And he put in 8 points and 9 rebounds the other day.
And tonight, Scotty Barnes better check his ass.
I think we got to form a crowd around him. I feel like the first two games we did a good job of that, and he didn't get ahead of steam as well. You can't let him get ahead of steam. We got to kind of corral him, play him to our strength, and put numbers around him, not make it easy around all their guys. That's what they've been doing to us, honestly. So we got to do the same to them and make it tougher.
I don't know what Evan's doing today. I'm about to leave the show early and take him under my wing. We got to rush. We got to watch Roadhouse. We got to watch Roadhouse. We got to watch Tombstone. Somebody go to Rick's Ranchwear if that place is even open anymore. Get him a duster. Get him a hat, some boots. We gotta change your perception. You gotta look at it. You gotta feel it. You gotta be tough, young man.
It's not exactly inspiring confidence. Like, hey, what's the big adjustment you guys are gonna make? It's like, we gotta do what they're doing to us. Then we're gonna do those things.
You want confidence? You want inspiration?
You got to figure out how they've been playing us and how they've been making us stagnant, and figure out the answers to the test. We got to play advantage basketball. That's the main thing. And whoever has the advantage at the moment, got to take that advantage, and from there it will just cascade down.
You got the advantage? No. I got the advantage. Taken.
The
trickle-down advantages cascading down.
The problem is the test wasn't supposed to be the first round against Toronto. Even the biggest Cavs haters were like, "Oh, they'll be fine in the first round." Like I was already ready for people to give them zero credit for anything they did against Toronto.
Well, you still are going to get zero credit if they lose the game.
You're certainly not going to get credit now.
Well, it's even worse when there was one clip from some goofball on some Bill Simmons podcast you were telling me about calling Evan some very nasty words. I don't know, man. I don't know if that person would say that to Evan Mobley's face. It's being sent to us, and I think it's a little bit beyond the pale. I don't like playing it, but you guys want to play it later, we'll play it later, but I don't want to play it. It's really strong. But I think it's even stronger where Draymond Green is a Hall of Famer. I know everybody hates his guts. But Draymond Green's a Hall of Famer. He's won a boatload of championships. He has been a thorn in the side for not just Cavs fans, for many fan bases, many teams. He's kind of goofy in his own right, mercurial in his own right, but he going to tell it like it is. And here's Draymond Green on the Draymond Green Show, not about Evan Mobley, but about Evan Mobley's running mate.
Jared Allen seems to get in these playoffs and get really, really, really soft, man. He gets in the playoffs and turns into a completely different player. And not for the better. He gets really, really, really soft in these playoff games. And I just don't understand it. Colin Murray Burroughs understands it, though. He said, I'm going right at your chest.
It's one thing for fat radio guys to say it. It's another thing for nerdy podcast guys to say it. Draymond Green's going to the Hall of Fame, guys. That's one of your contemporaries. That is a guy who at one point was a defensive stalwart. In so many ways on the floor should be a guy that you look up to because of the success that he's had. And he's calling you soft. And I know that there's Cavs fans out there that hate it. But that's what's being said, and you can tell me and I agree with you about the series last year against Indiana. I didn't think that they were soft in the series against Indiana. But you have a label on you, and this is Draymond Green watching you saying, yeah, you're soft, playing soft. Jared Allen's playing soft. Like
there was some,
hey, man,
against Indiana,
one
there
thing
was
to hear
some,
me say it, it's another thing to hear him say it.
There was some mentally weak stuff I thought that did go down, but they were injured and all that, so I was willing to give some of that a pass.
Yeah, but you know what? They weren't. After we talked to Joe Varden last week and after the article that he penned a month ago, that they were tired of hearing about injuries. So who keeps using injuries as an excuse around here?
Well, it's not. It's the injuries are certainly not an excuse in this series. Like, and you know what? To Jared Allen's credit, because I think Draymond is partially right. I mean, Jared Allen, he was benched at the end of the last game, and Evan came in, and Evan did nothing. Jared Allen was at least getting rebounds. Now, he can't score, he can't finish, and I do think his injury is bothering him a little bit. I'm not going to say that's the reason they could potentially lose a series. That's ridiculous. Your hopes and dreams of going to the Eastern Conference semis should not be resting on the shoulders of Jared Allen. But you do wonder, like in big moments, in Game 5 tonight, if there are big moments, okay? I know Cavs are huge favorites, which I think surprised a lot of Cavs fans.
I don't know, man. But you hear Evan Mobley there. I think they should be 12-point favorites. I think they should be 15-point favorites.
But if there are big moments in the fourth quarter, like what's the lineup going to be, and what are you doing? Are you going two bigs, or are you going to do the same thing you did last game? I did say on the air, like after the first two games, I'm like, all right, we're going to win probably in 5 games, But I did say one thing that bothered me was, and some people got mad at me for saying it, but I'm like, man, the last quarter and a half, Scotty Barnes kind of took it right to Evan Mobley, like right at him. People were like, it was garbage time. Okay, but it's continued. And Draymond's right. Like Colin Murray Boyles is kind of playing, young Draymond. He's kind of playing that way. And he is going right through the chest of Evan Mobley. And I know every offseason we look at Evan Mobley's arms and we're like, hey, it looks like there's some more muscle there. Yeah, but the chest. The chest. And certain guys can't really change a whole lot about who they are.
But you know what? I've seen guys who are a little bit thin in the skin and thin in the chest.
Kevin Garnett.
And they've played. Kevin Garnett was as hard as it gets. He was an immensely skilled player, a Hall of Famer in his own right, obviously.
And this is someone who's been compared to Kevin Garnett.
But Kevin Garnett was one of the hardest players to ever play the game and would fight anybody at the drop of the hat and was certainly never soft while he played in the NBA. That is the exact example that needs to be mentioned. And yes, he was compared to Kevin Garnett when he first came out. You are right about that. So you can't tell me that you had guys who kind of goofed around at the beginning of the series, took it on the chin. I'm talking about Toronto here, and all of a sudden they're playing hard. You can't tell me that I can't turn around and make my team play harder or make my team play tougher then, because they got it in them where, hey, man, the only way you're going to win this series is if you go right at them. And they're going right after us, and they slopped up the game on Sunday, and who lost the game? Who wasn't able to have poise with an 8-point lead with under 4 minutes left to go? Who wasn't able to have poise closing out the first half? Who wasn't able to do it? It wasn't the team that's been to the playoffs for the first time in 4 years. It's the team with the most expensive roster in the NBA.
That's the killer.
And that's why I'm holding them accountable for it. So, no, the series isn't over tonight. You're the better team. You better act like it. Because I can't deal with this moving target crap. I'm hearing my friends go after each other. I hear a bunch of people who call themselves Cavs fans telling us that we are wasting our breath. You have an all-time low of faith with this fan base right now on this team. And why? It's because Hall of Famers are calling you soft. That's why.
We have bosses at the station sending us videos of their son being more physical at soccer practice last night than Evan Mobley. That's what we're getting.
Coming up at 8 o'clock, we'll go around the AFC North. Yes, Pony will join us. Yes, he is still employed. But are the Steelers turning into the Browns? I didn't say it, guys. I was asked that question. You know how I feel. I'm a little bit worried to make such crazy proclamations. I want to get to some of you guys on this because, hey, I think this is a big game for Evan Mobley. It might be the biggest day of Donovan Mitchell's life. That's coming up in 5 minutes, as well as Andrew Barry starting to turn it around in just 2 years for a lot of people's perception of him. That's at 7:22 on the Fan. American Platinum Door and Gate.
because, once again, and I have how the hell did it take Toronto 2 damn games to figure out, hey, maybe we should really kind of start bullying them and see how they respond.
Really, what you're getting at is the idea that Mobley and Jared Allen just complete no-shows in the past couple games.
The Afternoon Drive. Weekdays starting at 2. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
During the break, Lima goes, what the hell is going on with Mike Vrabel? You seeing this? I go, that's what About Last Night is for, coming up at 7:45, as well as Travis Bazzana's walk-up music that apparently was picked by him or not picked by him. It was picked by him.
But there's a reason why. It's pretty good.
And you'll find out that reason why and About Last Night, coming up at 7:45 this morning. 216-474-0092. Schadenfreude is not supposed to make us feel better. You wanted to ask a lot of people. The rest of the East struggling. Orlando is up 3-1 on Detroit. Boston,
and they could end it tonight.
Boston lost last night again. It's a 3-2 Boston lead against the Philadelphia 76ers. The rest of the East is struggling. It doesn't make me feel any better. We got to take care of our business. This is something that a lot of people thought should be a rather easy series. I still pick Cavs in 5. I thought gentlemen sweep, and here we are 2-2. And a lot of people are kind of holding on tight about what this series is going to do, to the point where you said if they lose tonight, I don't know if you're being facetious because you're going to have to stand for it now. If they lose tonight, you said you're not going to watch Game 6.
Well, put it this way. This is a team that I tried to fight off all the criticisms, say, well, here's why it's going to be different. Look at the East. This isn't Boston with Porzingis and Horford and Holiday. They're not as good as they were. Tatum's coming off the injury. Detroit, I never believed in them. Now, I didn't know if they would lose in the first round, and right now they are on the brink of elimination tonight. Yeah. So I walked through the whole process, the Knicks of not believing in the other teams, and then looking at the Cavs and saying, hey, it's year 5 of Evan. Look at how he's played since the All-Star break. He's shooting 60% from the floor. He's back to some of his great defensive prowess. And here's the one thing that I tried to reject throughout the whole thing. I tried to reject that the mental weakness stuff of years past was going to come back this year. And I laid out the whole reason why I thought it was going to be different.
It's back, baby.
And how, Harden's had the bad Game 7s, the final games of the year. But one thing Harden has done is had these monstrous playoff games. All right, Donovan Mitchell. He's had monstrous playoff games in the opening series especially. Look at what they did to the Miami Heat last year. The Toronto Raptors have not, been able to hone their playoff skills over time. They're a newbie onto the scene. They're not going to understand what the playoffs are all about. And then the 2 games in Toronto just made me eat my words on so much of that.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. I said this. I want to talk about this later on around the AFC North at 8 o'clock. You and I both said, I thought if they win or lose tonight, the series is over. If they win, I think the series is over. If they lose tonight, I don't think the series is over. You think it's over, win or lose. I'm like, well, I can't say that. If they win, and Keith had brought up, and I think he's right, that, well, what if they go out and they lose Game 6? You're telling me you're still going to be confident in Game 7? And I went, you know what? I think I'm talking myself into it. I think I'm trying to talk myself into something that isn't true. Because you go back to Toronto, what would have made me really confident that this team was different had they gone up there and always sat there and talked about, man, atmosphere, it's going to be a loud place. They haven't been to the postseason in 4 years. This is going to be like the first time we went to the postseason after a while off trying to get this team together. It's going to be a loud place. And they laid an egg in the second half.
Oh, they were up 8 with 4 minutes left. That's the crazy
I'm talking
thing.
Game 3.
Yeah,
I'm talking
Game 3.
Game 4, they were up. And when you go on the road, and maybe Toronto's a better team than I'm giving them credit for, all right? But I think that you should be a much better team than Toronto. When you go up there and you lose, it gives you a bad feeling because it's like, all right, are you soft? Can you not deal with the outside noise? Can you not deal with an opposing fan base being tough? Because this is Toronto. What are you going to do in Boston? I mean, hell, we're talking about the Eastern Conference Finals here. Well, we got to crawl before we walk. You can't do this against Toronto. What about Orlando? I don't know Orlando being a great fan base, a great sports town, but I'm sure that the Orlando Magic are the only thing they really got going there. I know you got Jacksonville for like the next year or two, but it's the only thing they really got going there. I'm sure those fans are going to be loud considering that they're a surprise. So you can't handle these fans in different places? and I'm supposed to say that you're an NBA Finals team? I penciled you into the finals, and this is how we react. So there's a little bit of me trying to talk myself into it because you just should be better. You should be better than this.
Well,
and you're not
I said
better
it
than
last
this.
year.
And what's the reason? Everybody's saying you're soft. It's not like you're being outclassed. Like this is why, real quick, this is why I could live with losing to Boston, because it's like, hey, it's Jason Tatum, it's Jaylen Brown. These are two exceptional basketball players. They might just be better than you. But losing to Toronto, why do you lose to Toronto? Why do you lose to not Indiana? Indiana was a great basketball team. Why do you lose to Toronto? Why do you lose to the Knicks? They're going through your chest, in the words of Draymond Green, and that is something that a Cavs fan can't handle, and I don't blame him.
I had a legitimate deja vu while you were talking about how last year Indiana and their coaches kind of alluded to some pressure points, some pain points that they thought they could inflict on the Wine and Gold, and you saw how it ended. Again, they had injuries and all of that, but there were some things mentally that I was nervous about, and then to see it come right back in those Toronto games, like I would have thought our team would be so high flying after being up 2-0 and then looking at the bracket and just seeing the seas part, that all Donovan Mitchell has talked about this entire time was how this team was different, how he felt like this group, he was the most optimistic he had ever been. And then he threw up the clunkers. Like it wasn't his teammates. That is what was more alarming to me than anything else.
216-474-0092. Let me get to Thomas in Shaker Heights. Remember, we got Around the AFC North coming up at 8 o'clock. Pony will join us. Are the Steelers turning into the Browns? I didn't ask that question. A Steelers fan did. Let me get to Thomas and Shaker. You're first up on the fan. Hello, Thomas.
Hey, Ken. Hey, Lima. Hey, I'm a little bit more calm than I was the other day after that loss, but I will say I'm still agitated with Donovan Mitchell. You know, when we traded for Donovan Mitchell back in 2022, we thought to ourselves, hey, we have this team. All we need is a superstar. This is, we know what it takes to be a superstar in the city. And I can't help but get emotional when I read the Kevin Love tweet and think to myself, man, Donovan, you're playing in the same city that 6'7" boy from Akron played in. And that's my standard. I'm sorry, I just have that standard. When you're up by, 8 points with 4 minutes left in the game, you have to close the game out, and then you come back to Game 5 in Cleveland, and you play the Kendrick Lamar song. It's over.
Well, that's not even my standard. I can't compare Donovan Mitchell to the greatest to ever do it.
Well, you better try.
Well, no. Hold on. Thomas. When they got LeBron back, it was, hey, man, this is a finals team or bust. And you got to the finals 4 straight years. Now, they won one of them, which is a hard-ass thing to do, but we expected to go to the finals. Does anybody expect this team to go to the finals? I should still be able to expect you to get out of the first round against Toronto, for crying out loud.
But, Ken, we gave Donovan Mitchell, if not more, as much as we ever gave LeBron. He wanted
because he needs more. Because he needs more.
We gave him so much. When are we going to start asking? When are we going to start realizing that we have the wrong superstar? We gave him DeAndre Hunter. We fired the coach.
But you
can't.
Him
a Hall of Famer.
Hey, I don't think he's the wrong superstar. It's just, but if you hold him to the same standard of LeBron, I'm sorry, you're not going to be happy. LeBron is 41 years old, is still doing unbelievable things in the postseason in minutes that matter against teams that matter without main players on his team. That is a freak of nature. Donovan will not and has never been able to do the same thing that LeBron James does. So I'm sorry, Thomas, if you're holding him to LeBron James' standard, that's just not being realistic. I think I'm trying to be realistic here.
I think he's more of a – I don't think he can ever be like on LeBron's level. But, we think of players like Dwayne Wade or that next tier under. That's what I expect Donovan Mitchell to be.
But that's the hardest.
That's fair.
The hardest part about this league,
Thomas, thank you for the
is
call.
that he's been a top 10 player since he has been here. He's gotten MVP votes. He was first team All NBA last year. This is kind of as good as you could possibly procure. You know how hard it is to get the guys that are at another tier above.
But that's the
Donovan
issue.
Mitchell. Like you might be able to get the Jalen Brunsons and Donovan Mitchells of the world in trades, but that's it, because teams aren't giving up the Shai Gilgeous-Alexanders.
That's exactly the issue that we're looking at here. Is that if they lose this game tonight, you're saying that this is the biggest day of his life. Now, the Game 6 could end up being the biggest day of his life, and then Game 7 could be the biggest day of his life. Because if you lose this series, you're not number one anymore, and if you want out, you're going to go be a passenger somewhere. The whole you leading a team, you being in that upper echelon type of player, leading a team to a finals, being maybe more of an undersized guard, He's bigger than Allen Iverson. I'm using a Steph Curry, those type of guys. That conversation's over.
Yeah.
You can go be a helper with someone else. That's what stares you in the face right here tonight.
And
that's what makes tonight so big. That's why I'm kind of agreeing with you how big a night this is.
This underscores one of the biggest problems that I have noted in this series is that who were they hoping would be the helper in year 5?
Evan.
Who has it had to been? Who has it had to be?
James Harden. Jared Allen at times.
But that's when they traded for James Harden. I thought to myself, hey, I think Harden is a upgrade over Darius Garland, and I will go to my grave and say exactly that. I can't even imagine Darius Garland in this physical series. I can't even imagine him. At the same time, Evan Mobley was supposed to be that guy. James Harden has had to be that guy. And any team that is centered around James Harden as being that guy, you kind of know the history.
Are you feeling pensive tonight, or do you think that people need to calm down? 216-474-0092, because we're saying some really strong. I do not agree with what Thomas said about comparing him to LeBron. It's incomparable, and I think that that's an impossible standard. I don't know if there's not going to be anybody in our lifetime that's going to be like that guy to play for this basketball team. I don't believe so. We can't make that comparison, but I can compare him to other great players around the league. I can compare him to other players of his stature throughout history and say, hey, it's on you now. I wanted to defend him when he was in Utah. I thought it was early to say those sort of things. Now, hey, man, you're getting closer to 30. It's coming down to it now, man. You can't do it with this team. You can't get out of the first round with this team. That's it. You might be able to get to the finals with somebody else, but you ain't going to be the guy that is the leader on that team. It's going to be somebody else. You're going to help. So as uncomfortable it is to say, and as crazy as it sounds, yeah, maybe it is the biggest day of his life tonight. And then the next game in Game 6 on Friday, and then the Game 7 if you have to go that far. Hopefully you don't. At 7:45, Lima asks, what the hell's going on with Mike Vrabel? Well, you'll find out in about last night. Also, Travis Bazzana, he made his debut. That's coming up in about last night. And 2 drafts, and we're already changing our tune on Andrew Berry. Some of us are saying, what took you so long? Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, take us with you to work on that absolutely free Odyssey app. Get it now.
subscribe to our YouTube channel. Get the best content from our shows each and every weekday. That's 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Around the AFC North coming up at 8 o'clock. Ravens got Diego Pavia. Can they handle Diego Pavia?
I'm still a little
shocked. Will his mother be at
shocked.
training camp?
I'm still a little shocked we didn't draft him.
That's the least shocked I've ever been that we didn't draft him.
What? This team?
Come on. We're
This
not taking
team?
Diego Pavia.
Wait. Kenny, you're being serious?
Andrew Berry's in charge now, buddy. It's no longer Paul DiBodesta and his weird things that he's got going on.
And you're
now.
saying Jimmy wouldn't have made a call?
I don't know if Jimmy would have made it. Not for Diego Pavia. He didn't play at Tennessee. He played at Vanderbilt. That's a rival. You think Jimmy Haslam likes a 5'9" rival quarterback?
I can't believe Ken Carman, of all people, after experiencing the last however many years that Jimmy Haslam in this team, didn't think that Diego Pavia, because now we're all about the orange dots?
I'm just saying,
everything's changed.
Even if you thought Jimmy would step in and make that pick, which I have before about other QBs, obviously. Even if you did think he was going to make that pick, it doesn't make any sense. Why would he want a 5'9"
That's exactly why it makes sense.
No, it doesn't.
That's why. Because it would have been inexplicable.
No, you don't know the eye. See, this is why you've lost yourself with the common fan. You don't understand how the common fan thinks. You think that the common Tennessee, I should say that I think there's a building named after the family, for crying out loud, so they're not a common fan down there. But you think that people who are big Tennessee fans, like Vanderbilt, like anybody who went to Vanderbilt, like any quarterback who went to Vanderbilt and would insist on drafting the guy at 5'9"?
Are you new to Jimmy Haslam?
No.
Oh, my God. I can't believe.
He's a Tennessee guy. Are you new to college football rivalries?
It's not. These guys play for 30 teams now in their college career. There's no rivalry with where they went to school.
He took Vanderbilt to a different
level. They don't even
level.
take classes at these schools.
Am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong, and I'll drop it if you say I'm wrong.
That wouldn't be like Jimmy Haslam to take.
Not him.
It wouldn't be like Jimmy to take a guy like Diego Pavia who shoots at the hip at all times.
You were at one point one of the biggest Oklahoma fans ever. You know rivalries. Yes. And you'll be again. I know you because you got time to watch college football again. There you go.
Back in it next year.
So tell this idiot he's wrong.
So I'm just trying to decipher all the information that we have. I went and looked up the score of last season's Vanderbilt-Tennessee game. It finished 45-24. It was dominating by Vanderbilt, Diego Pavia. I don't know that Jimmy Haslam... You can look at it two ways. I don't know if he looks at that and goes, well, we got to have that guy. He beat my team. Or if he goes, there's no way in hell I'm going to bring that guy in. We've already got a 5'9" quarterback.
He doesn't like. You don't think he'd like the defiance and the moxie of Diego Pavia?
No.
The soundbite, just daily soundbite.
And also,
you knew to how Jimmy does things around here?
Running the risk of having his mentor Johnny Manziel even anywhere near the facility. Anywhere near the facility. No. He's not going to do that.
So you're saying he's learned, he actually has learned behavior.
Well, I told you this a million times. You didn't disagree with me at all when I say they always try to correct their mistakes. Sometimes they just overcorrect them.
Oh, I figured
I laid it all out for you yesterday. 2013, what they do in 2013, they had a new general manager and team president. They punted on that draft in 2014. Then they fired Lombardi and Banner, and they didn't even get the draft in 2014. They could have fired Andrew Berry last year and the year before that, and nobody would have batted an eye. Nobody would have batted an eye. And I don't think you have the top-rated draft had you had fired Andrew Berry last year. You might have lucked your way into what we call the top-rated draft, and it takes a little bit of luck. I mean, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren falling to you at 58 is a little lucky. Okay, that's true. But you're not getting the type of draft had you had fired Andrew Berry. You have to have your people in place. They have tried to learn from their previous mistakes.
I'm saying
that's why I told you
he's
whoever they
been
take
here
in 2027,
long enough, Kenny,
if
that
you think
the overcorrection to the overcorrection would get him right back to square one.
He ain't taking. No, they're not taking. I'm telling you right now,
it's true. If you turn around and then you turn around again, you're right
back to where you were.
Yeah, but if you keep turning around, you keep going to different places, right?
Are you going left the whole time?
Well,
As long as you don't go right. I mean,
not today.
It is his birthday.
Not today. Not today. You could do it tomorrow. You could have done it yesterday. Not today. Stop laughing. It ain't funny.
No, I'm not.
That's a Carman family hero. You stop it now.
Would never make fun.
Tomorrow you can do it again. Today's his birthday. 216-474-0092. I don't even know why I'm throwing out the number.
Don't call.
Don't call the show. Damn it, stop laughing. All right, Albert Breer was on Afternoon Drive yesterday, as he's wont to do on a Tuesday. And Albert was talking about Andrew Berry, the same Andrew Berry you and I were just talking about. And, whether or not Andrew Berry's image has changed over these past 2 drafts, here's what the survey said from the author of Monday Morning Quarterback.
This is his 7th draft, I think, which is wild. Makes me feel old. But, I think what you learn looking at, his draft history, and I don't think he's been top of the league at it, but I think everyone has their ebbs and flows when it comes to this stuff, and their good years and their bad years, and they're able to execute the trade, which I think you guys would agree that they really needed volume of young people. It wasn't just one guy that was going to put anything over the top. We needed to just build up the base and the foundation of our team. So they were able to do that in getting it right on Carson Schlesinger and Mason Graham and Quinshon Judkins and Harold Finn. And I think regardless of how you measure that against the rest of the league, that was a really good draft. And, now you hope that Fano and Concepcion and Boston can add to that. If you come out of this with 8 good starters, now you're a completely different circumstance than you were a couple of years ago.
He's right as rain. More on that, 923thefan.com. Albert Breer on with Afternoon Drive yesterday, as he usually does every Tuesday, or maybe makes it up another day, but still comes on every week. I think he's right about that. It's interesting to see. Now, but I said this yesterday. I go, there's not a lot of trust that Andrew Berry has within the fan base. But if you had fired him last year, you wouldn't. You would have probably liquidated these picks, except 2027 is a great draft. So you would have been probably trying to trade back and trying to trade back and trying to trade back and just kind of punting on this draft because you'd have went from 13 months of work probably to 3 because you have a new general manager. And you said this yesterday, and I agreed with you, that a new general manager is going to come in. You might keep the staff for the rest of the draft
they typically stay for
that. They're not really going to trust the staff because why did they have to fire the general manager then? You wouldn't have had this type of draft. Now, that being pointed out, as many did, they still haven't hit the field yet. All right, well, I can only go by what I know. And what I know is that from their own words, I was counting the first 4 guys as starters for you. Spencer Fano is going to start week 1. Casey Concepcion is going to start week 1. Emmanuel McNeil Warren will probably be a starter for you. And Denzel Boston is going to be a starter for you. They're talking tough about Parker Brailsford being their center week 1. That's a 5th-round pick for crying out loud. Now, because he's a 5th-round pick and start week 1, you kind of hold your breath a little bit. But, good God, you find 5 starters who contribute out of that draft this year, if they finish around 500, close to it, or over it, that's
interesting.
That's it.
That's interesting the way you phrase that,
He has not totally changed. He has almost totally changed his reputation. There's still a situation with Deshaun Watson that ain't no one going to forget about, so I'm not going to say that's totally changed his reputation, but he has somehow got this boat off the bottom of the ocean floor. Go ahead.
I was in agreement with you. Thought this was a really good draft. But then the way you kept talking about it, I
talked you out of it.
Well, think about all the young guys they had from last year's draft that played immediately, and now this year, you just said how many starters could be 5?
Oh, they'll have some struggles.
And when you tell me 5 guys from one of the worst drafts in 25 years are starting on your football team, I don't know if that makes me as confident about the organization and the team.
I understand that, and you and everybody else are going to dunk on me. I get that.
No, I'm not dunking because I said it was a good draft.
Why you said it for no reason?
No, I said it was a good draft.
Okay.
But that does kind of tell you about the state of affairs of your football team, that if all these guys from a bad draft, that probably would not have been first-round picks in next year's draft or even the previous year's draft, if they're already starting for you, man, what did they do to the roster?
They gave up 3 years of first-round picks because they made one of the most irresponsible decisions. Arguably the most irresponsible decision in sports history.
But it's not only the lack of those first-round picks and even some seconds. It's that what did you do in roster building with everybody else, with all the other moves that this team has made more moves, and they're the most expensive roster over the last how many years in the NFL?
Well, Jed
if
Wills,
we're going to use that against the Cavs, are we allowed to use it against the Browns?
Yes, you absolutely can.
That they
and
spent
absolutely
more dollars?
should. I didn't say he's out of the woods and he's God's gift to the football, because this team, they're still rookies. They're still young. So if they're starting and they're contributing, I said if you contribute to wins, you can go out there and be a 2-win football team with a bunch of rookies and still have some guys that look good. It's the NFL. There's going to be talent on every roster. But if you're going out contributing and you finish somewhere close to 500 or even over 500, you got to give credit where credit's due. And now if they finish close to 500, like I'm getting myself to a point here with this team. I like George Warhop. We'll see where this goes. But I can already I can see myself. I'm not willing to say it yet, guys. I'm willing to see myself saying at the beginning of the year that you see this roster, you see these players here, they should do this. What is this? 7 wins, somewhere in there. And then as the season goes on, you could come to a realization where we could start seeing it. I can't say it yet. They haven't even hit the field yet. But you could go at it and say they got the right QB, or more than likely they didn't. They still don't. And you could say, man, they won this many games, and they still need one more piece. I trust, and that's a tough thing to say, I would be willing to look at it and say, do I trust Andrew Berry to go out and find the most important piece again? Because if you're able to find these guys, clearly you've learned from your mistakes. You can make mistakes as long as you learn from them. You weren't able to in previous Browns iterations. You've made mistakes over 7 years. Can you learn from them and then find the guy to help this football team? Because if you're winning 7 games this year, that means your quarterback play could not be very good. But if you're winning 7 games, that means, good God, we got Casey Concepcion's a good player. Denzel Boston's a good player. This offensive line has been better than any of us thought it was going to be. I was wrong because I'm worried about free agents over here, but George Warhop's done a great job. You have this defense. They feel they're ready to go. I think that they've really resented the offense over the last couple of years because they've done their job. The defense has. Again, I'm not breaking any news. They think they're a lot closer to being a competitive team than what any of us feel. They feel they're close.
We did say that last year.
I don't remember saying it last year.
Oh, Jimmy Haslam
he might have said it.
We played that audio a bunch. He was expecting way back. I mean, the coach got fired. So, but I mean, pretty clearly
I don't remember saying it. I don't remember thinking it.
We were there
I
that
actually
day.
feel it there. Were we there?
Yeah, we were there that day.
Where were we?
Jimmy talked at training camp.
We were there that day? That's right. We were there that day because it was hotter than a bastard outside. And me, and DeJuan Jones were sitting there. We were like, turn that fan on us. It is hot. Real hot. Sweat my ass off that day. Sweating like we were on death row. So let me ask you, you've been down on Barry, I've been down on Barry. I can see a vision here. Now, we both like Andrew as a person. Ain't no doubt about that. So that helps it. Are you coming around back on Barry again?
Yeah, I mean it's all looking better and better and better these last 2 years with the drafts. There's no doubt.
Mm-hmm. Got to win. Got to win. I know that.
What will this mean?
Got to prove it.
I mean, with that schedule, with those drafts, that defense, and Myles Garrett, if he's still on the team after June,
the
big asterisk we've got to keep pointing out. But
I'm worried.
If he's still there, there's no reason to believe that the team can't win more.
If he's not on the team after June, then this thing's dead in the water, and he might as well pack his boxes. He's done his work, but I can't imagine him staying if he had to trade Myles Garrett, because then people are going to be mad. But if this is a team that gets to that level, I could see myself going, okay, I know you've made a horrific mistake. But remember, when they went out and they got Deshaun Watson, I didn't want to take him. I didn't think he was that good. I didn't think he'd be anywhere near this bad. We argued that until the cows came home. He's been horrific for this team. But if you get to that level where it's like, hey, we've won 7 games. We've won more than what we thought we were going to win, or we won 8 games even. And you can say whatever you want to about the schedule. It would be tougher in 2027. I got that too. But if you went out there and you won close to 500, why would I get rid of Andrew Berry now? Why would I get rid of Andrew Berry now? The team's clearly better. Who picked the team?
Well, would you
How many free agents have we got over the last couple of years?
Would you question some long-term planning, though? Because this kind of is a bad year to be in the middle.
It's not a great year to be in the middle. I understand that. But it could end up being a better year to be in the middle than we realize. You might not get Arch Manning, but it's not a one-quarterback draft.
No, that's true.
So if you're in the middle, hey, I can make some moves and go up for God knows who. If you love that guy, like say Dante Moore, say he goes out and has a good season. I'm always worried because now we're looking for the bad parts to him.
Sure.
Because now you're staying around for another year. Like what happened with Matt Barkley, what happened with Drew Aller, what happened with a lot of guys.
Cardell
Garrett Nussmeier, Cardell Jones. We start to look for the bad things. Justin Herbert stayed for another year. He ended up being really good, but we were just staring at all the foibles because you stick around too long, then we start to talk ourselves out of it. You spend too much time on the car lot, you're going to start to talk yourself out of things. And I could see us trying to talk ourselves out of Dante Moore, but if he ends up having a great season and our team is under 500, but these guys look good, Schlesinger has another year, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, yeah, you could say, let's squeeze that trigger. And hell, if we have such young players, we have such young talent, and we're close to 500, you want to dig into 2028? Go out and go up in the draft and go out and get that guy? Again, you ain't going to get Arch Manning at number 1 because he's going number 1 overall. But it doesn't mean it's a one-quarterback draft, and there's still going to be gold in their hills. So you could go out and do it. 216-474-0092. 8 o'clock, we go around the AFC North. Up next, Lima asks, what the hell's going on with Mike Vrabel? Polymarket saying he might step down, according to you over there, Tone, from what you sent to us. And Travis Bazzana made his debut last night in an interesting story about his walk-up music. It's all coming up in 5 minutes on The Fan.
I mean, it had nothing to do with me. I mean, they moved the meeting. I didn't miss it. I was just trying to get a sweet haircut.
How it is when you win in Cleveland, man. They love you. When you lose, whew, it's the way it should be.
He's a piece of crap. The kid, he sucks. He's sucked his whole career.
I got rumors about him. How he couldn't please his wife, so now he's divorced.
That sounds really good, but I'm not 6'5", and I don't have the athletic ability to play in the NBA.
Now, the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima give their thoughts on what you might have missed about last night.
Last night, the Guardians lost 1-0 to the Tampa Bay Rays, but Travis Bazzana finally made his Major League debut. The former number 1 pick went 0 for 2 with 2 walks, and he became the 52nd player in Major League history to ever be intentionally walked in his Major League debut. Travis Bazzana, his walk-up song was was Down Under by Men at Work in the Australian group, and here's what he said about choosing that as his walk-up song.
My walkout songs throughout college and in Pro Bowl, like my parents and family would come out, like watch a game, and maybe it'd be like a rap song or something, and my dad would be like, "Come on, what's the deal with the walkout song? You know, like what is that? Da da da." And I would always say, like, we'd think about walkout songs like that, or use an Aussie walkout song. Like my parents would be like, use an Australian song, something. And I would always be like people know I'm Australian. Like, why would I do that? Like, there's no reason for that. But I don't know. I just had this inkling the last couple of months that I felt like that would be special to start my career. Just like that's my favorite kind of iconic Australian song, and it's cliche, but I think it's good stuff.
Should have been the Wiggles.
Do you think?
It should have been apples and bananas.
The fruit salad.
Should have been fruit salad. Yummy, yummy. Fruit salad.
I got no idea what you're talking about. I swear to God, I haven't seen an episode, but all you guys talk about is the
It's
Wiggles.
all I know about that country. I can't stop thinking about when I was younger, right? It would have been Irwin.
Of course.
Right? Not Shyster.
Our Shyster.
Steve Irwin.
Yeah.
And now it's the Wiggles, and I can't stop thinking about it. Big, strong John. There's Anthony. There's Lockie. There's Shahai, 5-time Sausage champ.
You're naming a group of Wiggles that I never knew.
They're the newer Wiggles, yeah.
I had your grandfather's Wiggles.
Oh, yeah.
So I always knew that AC/DC was from. Most of them were from Australia.
The AC part.
I did not know In Excess is from Australia.
Oh.
Yep. Didn't know
Kylie Minogue is from Australia.
I knew
think
that
I might
one.
have heard that.
Yeah.
Locomotion.
Yeah. Of course.
AC/DC, according to Rolling Stone, is the number 1 Australian musical artist of all time. Also, did you know Silverchair?
Yeah.
Come on.
Silverchair? You knew Silverchair was from?
I was a huge Silverchair fan.
You gonna wait too fat, boy?
They're the same age as me, so that was a huge deal when they came out.
Best thing is when I get in my buddy Jake's truck and he'd be blaring it like, "Oh, you get it? You get him?" Like, "Yeah, I get it."
Yeah, way to go.
I know what I'm listening to right when we get off the air.
Is Men Down Under or Men
at Work?
Yeah, Men at Work. Land Down Under. That's like the most famous Australian song though in America, right? Like that's what is synonymous.
It's a good song. It's an earworm. He should pick his own feeling. We all know he's from Australia.
It shouldn't be a cliche thing like this. I agree.
He did it for a while. Okay, he can do it for a while. Then he pick his own. Be your own man, brother. Forge your own path. Go ahead, John.
The Mike Vrabel saga continues, kinda. Chris Brinker, the Titans' president of football operations, stepped down from his position yesterday. I think the Titans are going to lose a draft pick over this. I really do, over this Vrabel-Rossini thing. Like, it's happened. It's gotten too deep at this point, and it's gone on too long. I thought this was going to be like a one-off thing, and now it's gone way too deep.
I mean, he stuck it out for so far now.
First of all, it's Chad Brinker. I think you said Chris.
Did I say Chris?
I thought he said Chad.
He said Chris.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think that
yeah.
Why would you step out now?
Why would you step out right after the draft?
But
your time.
Anytime you mess up, anytime another guy messes up, it's like, how do you call him out? You're going to be asked. Like, could it be possible that a fresh start, could he be a head coach in the NFL a third time, or is that it?
Yes, I think he could.
I would think he could.
He just went to the Super Bowl. Yes, hell yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
There will be a desperate owner.
Stop.
Might live not that far from here.
Stop.
Think about the talent he has now to deal with.
Can we just wait till our other guy coaches a game before we start ripping? Okay. Can we wait? I'm just
saying,
not.
right now, ask fans, would they rather have Mike Vrabel or Todd Monken?
I'm not asking him. You want to ask him, you ask him. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying a word. I'm not saying a word.
I think you know where the fans are going now.
Don't put up a poll. Don't ask him. We're just going to get killed for it. Don't do it. I'm telling you right now, don't do it.
I'm not the one who puts up the poll.
It came up in casual
Joey,
conversation.
don't do
It wasn't something we talked about.
It didn't come up in casual conversation.
Yeah.
You did slippery wizard things. I wasn't even thinking about it. It wasn't casual. I'm bothered by this. It's not casual anymore. Awkward is what it is. Moving on.
The Sixers beat the Celtics last night in Game 5 to force Game 6. Joel Embiid, 33 points. Celtics had a poor shooting day. Is there a world where both the Cavs and the Celtics advance to the second round and you feel better about the Cavs than you do the Celtics?
Wow. Well, I was thinking yesterday, like, who of the first round favorites, so that would be Detroit, that would be the Cavs, that would be Boston, and that would be the Knicks. Who's been the most impressive of those teams? Maybe you'd say the Knicks now because they went ahead yesterday, but it was doomsday over there with the Knicks fans just a few days ago.
Well, all right. Do the Cavs in your perfect world you bring up, are they smashing the Toronto Raptors over the next couple of games in your premise?
If they smash them tonight.
If they smash them tonight.
Back-to-back 10-point wins.
That's a smashing in this series.
Yeah, okay.
And
then maybe I do. If Boston struggles again and it becomes a 7-game series, then maybe I would. Yeah, there's always a possibility. I just don't think it's a great possibility. A lot of people are back down on the Cavs again. I think that we're in a place that we didn't think we were going to be. We were wanting some confidence. People were really confident after 2 games, and now here we are again, man. Not a good feeling for a lot of folks.
That's it for About Last Night.
Outstanding as always. Coming up at 9 o'clock, Jason Lloyd going to join us on the show. You want to talk about positivity. I mean, he's got it falling out of those cups over there. Is tonight the biggest night of Donovan's career? We'll see what Jason has to say coming up at 9 o'clock. But up next, Bob Haney, 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore, where we got into an argument over Diego Pavia, of all people. I don't think that Bob's going to get into an argument with us over that. Mo Egger, ESPN 1530 in Cincinnati. Could this year be the biggest season of Joe Burrow's life? Coming up here soon. Ask Mo Egger about that, and Andrew Filipponi is going to join us on the show. 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh. Obviously, you know what we're going to talk about with that. And I had a Steelers fan ask me. He asked me, hand to God on my children, are the Steelers turning into the Browns? Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, that question is answered in 5 on The Fan. Good Nature Organic Lawn Care. I was a doubter. Folks, go to their website now, getgoodnature.com. I was a doubter. I am a believer now.
Sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Catch Afternoon Drive with Nick Wilson and Jonathan Peterlin live on YouTube each and every weekday from 2 to 7 p.m.
Remember, all those guests appear on the Make It Right Call Kyle Wright hotline, and hell, we got 3 of them right now as we go over the 2026 NFL Draft, and we start as we go around the AFC North, and we start in Baltimore. 105.7 The Fans, Bob Haney out of Baltimore with the biggest question of, do you think Jimmy Haslam would have got Diego Pavia? Do you think he would have done that, Bob? Because we got into a huge argument earlier. I go, absolutely not. He went to Vanderbilt. He's 5'9", not a chance in hell. And Lima thinks I'm crazy for saying that.
Well, he brings a lot of swag to the equation, for sure. I mean, what he famously told the Heisman voters to go bleep themselves for not voting him winner of the trophy, but a little smallish in size. No guarantees he'll even make the Ravens because Baltimore also signed Fagnoni, the quarterback out of UConn, to a 3-year deal. They extended Tyler Huntley in the offseason, but at the very least, coming up this weekend, rookie minicamp's going to be fun. And hopefully they'll stick a microphone in front of his face to hear what he has to say.
How are people in Baltimore feeling about their situation, taking the guard to start out and then following it up with a defensive end and wide receiver in the 3rd round?
The Ioane pick is pretty much thumbs up across the board because he feels a glaring need. Right now the question is he going to be left guard or right guard because the Ravens brought John Simpson back from the Jets in the offseason. But he's plug and play. There are some fans I'm talking about that wanted, Sadiq, the tight end, who wound up going to the Jets a couple picks later. But Zion Young, he's going to, set the edge, hand in the dirt. He's going to be someone that's going to contribute, we hope, to the pass rush because the Ravens were terrible in that area last year. And they got into receivers, Lane and Surratt. Surratt, by the way, went to high school here in Baltimore. That, contested catch guys might not be big burners, but they're big bodies because, Zay Flowers, proven commodity, coming up on a contract issue, and Rashid Bateman. I don't know what the hell happened to him last year. So those are cool. The only question is, why didn't they draft a center? And I guess the 2 best centers went in the 2nd round, and DeCosta said over the weekend, didn't appear as though they were willing to sacrifice draft capital to move up and get them. And they got 2 tight ends, too, which they need.
Bob Haney, 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore. How much of a threat do you think the Browns are, or how much of a better team, not a threat maybe yet, but how much of a better team do you think the Browns are after this draft?
They get all the well, talent-wise, on paper, it might even surpass last year's draft, which was great for the most part. If a quarterback emerges, whether it's the Shador, Deshaun Watson, or whomever, Otto Graham, I mean, if they get quarterback play, I think they could compete for sure. I mean, they've always got these pieces on the periphery. They added 2 really good receivers to the mix. I think Cleveland could be sneaky good this year.
I love talking at this time of year about like the hierarchy of this division, and this is something we're going to ask everybody today, all of our panelists. But the Pittsburgh Steelers, are they in some trouble? I'd love to know the view from Baltimore.
Well, we always think that they are, and then they aren't. I mean, they eke out a 9-8 and a 10-7 and get themselves into the postseason. But, their quarterback situation, as usual, is unsettled, and it has been pretty much since Ben Roethlisberger started to decline in skill. They're beholden to what Aaron Rodgers wants to do. And I know Tomlin said on NBC the other night he thinks he'll be back, drafted Aller. You'd think new coach, but a proven one in McCarthy, you think they'll decline? But they just they're like cockroaches, man. They just won't seem to go away. They survived nuclear holocaust. And the irony of the whole thing is the longest tenured coach in the division is Zach Taylor, whose team hasn't made the playoffs in 3 years.
Bob Haney, 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore. Going over there, draft had a lot of picks. Let's go to Cincinnati. Mo Egger, ESPN 1530 in Cincinnati. I don't have to ask you this because we already asked you last week, but it felt like you got yourself a number 1 pick there with Dexter Lawrence. So let me go a little bit further. When it comes to your draft, who was your favorite pick that they had, and why was it Connor Lew?
It was Connor Lew, because I think there's an alternate universe where he's taken on Friday, and I think there's an alternate universe where he's taken pretty early on Friday. And look, they needed interior offensive line depth in the short term, and they needed offensive line solutions long term all over the place. And I feel like Connor Lew is a great value pick. I think he's the heir apparent to Ted Karras. I know they're really excited about getting him. They also drafted another guy in Brian Parker, the second from Duke, who's a local kid, who projects to be a center as well, but he played tackle in college. I think they in a draft that they were going to emphasize defense, and they did, they made two sneaky good acquisitions on the offensive line.
Mo, overall, we were one of the few shows, it seemed like, where we thought that move made sense for kind of a desperate Bengals team trying to capitalize during this Joe Burrow window. With all that said, are you surprised by how much negativity that trade got?
I'll be honest with you. I haven't heard as much of that as I think is being portrayed. Look,
I agree.
I think there's built-in skepticism when it comes to whatever the Bengals do, because they're the Bengals, right? I mean, that skepticism is earned. But from what I gather, and look, there were folks who maybe said, well, Dexter Lawrence's production last year dipped, or God, you could have had Caleb Downs or maybe Reuben Bain, and those things are very, very fair. I don't know. From where I sit, I think most people look at what the Bengals did and said this was their time to go for it. With a division that's in transition, with an AFC that feels wide open, with an offense that's basically set. I think, this desperate is the right word, but I don't know that it was desperate from the standpoint of them not being in a position to make a move like this. And so I don't know, man. I've seen people criticize it, but for the most part, not everybody, but most of the content that I have consumed related to acquiring Dexter Lawrence, it's come from a place of surprise, because you don't expect the Bengals to do something like that. But I think for the most part, people are looking at what the Bengals have done and said if they were ever going to go all in, after not making the playoffs for 3 consecutive years, with Joe Burrow in his prime, with the Joe Burrow clock ticking, this was the time to make that sort of move.
What did you think of the Browns draft?
It was very productive. I thought, with what they did in trading down and apparently maybe getting the guys that they were going to get anyway, I think most people look at the AFC North and say the Browns have won this draft in the AFC North, right? They addressed pretty much every major need, found a talented player pretty much in every single round. It felt like Andrew Berry and his staff really did a good job of finding pieces in rounds 2 through 7. Now, obviously, you guys will spend the next few months, I'm sure, talking about who the starting quarterback is going to be. But, yeah, I think the division is poised for a team like the Browns to get better very, very quickly, and I think this draft enabled them to do that.
Mo Egger, ESPN 1530 in Cincinnati. They're the new home of Landon Robinson, local kid who went to Navy, but he went to Copley High School. Hopefully he makes that team a 7th-round pick. We're going to be paying attention to him. Andrew Filippone, 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh. Almost the unemployment line, almost AARP. But he joins us right now.
AARP, I'm the same age as you.
Well, I thought you were just going to retire. I thought you would just retire, and that AARP is for retirees.
And retiring are two different things, but yeah.
Pony, of all the pushback you have gotten, the controversy that swirled around your decision, where did the following comments from our Browns beat reporter, Daryl Ryder, register when it comes to everybody that's been talking about Andrew Filippone? Take it away. You beefing with certain Pittsburgh radio hosts this weekend, Daryl?
Oh, yeah. Daryl, you were beefing.
Yeah, I had to stuff Pony in a locker because he came after me. And I was trying to have a little fun with him. And so, yeah, I had to clap back.
Pony, how humiliating.
Well, that's the first I've heard about it. Nobody in the industry writes about what Daryl says.
Come on.
He hasn't had a Browns scoop since you guys have been on the air. No. This is the first I'm actually hearing about it.
Hold on. Put him on.
Knock it off. Not in the mood.
We are not going to let you attack Daryl Ryder. He's not here to defend himself. And, quite frankly.
You knew he was going to. I don't know why you played it.
Quite frankly, when he's putting you in a locker there, Pony, I mean, that's kind of smart. I mean, that's Daryl versus Pony right there.
Put him back on.
Yeah, I had to stuff Pony in a locker.
Thoughts?
Well, I don't know what he said to stuff me in a locker.
I guess he went after you on social media.
I was trying to have a little fun with him, and so, yeah, I had to clap back.
What do you say to that?
Take that, Pony.
Nobody Barrett Media didn't write about it. No Barrett Seawright article. No Jason Mamula article about it. So apparently he doesn't register with anybody. And like I said, when Daryl breaks a Brown story, it'll be a first here on The Fan.
Oh, what do you think? Where do you think the stadium came from, buddy?
It was all over it.
It's Daryl. And the Galaxy, but also Daryl.
Did Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport say, according to Daryl Ryder from The Fan in Cleveland?
They're never going to give credit. You know that.
By the way, official groundbreaking tomorrow.
Okay.
Yes.
Tomorrow.
We're moving on.
When was the last time he had a roster move scoop on a trade or a draft?
Oh, that stuff comes out seconds later. Who cares?
When did your guys ever have anything? Who do you guys have? You got
I
nothing.
don't care about
You don't care about your guys, so you guys employ somebody you don't even care about? What a great company you're running over there, buddy. What a tight ship.
Hold on a second. We'll blame Craig Riley for that. I'm not the boss.
You act like it.
When do our Steelers insiders go on the air and rip Ken, Carman, and Anthony Lima? Do they?
All time.
They don't do that.
All time.
They do?
Yes. You don't rip me on your show?
Our Steelers insider has gone on the air and said Ken Carman's an idiot. I've never heard that.
Wait, you're telling me Kabali's never said he's going to stuff me in a locker? Please.
I don't think.
Tell it to Kabali.
Look like.
Pony, are you going to have a face-to-face with Drew Aller?
Probably not. I don't think so.
Are you giving him a chance?
Really excited,
yeah, you going to give Drew Aller a chance?
He looked pumped putting that Steelers cap on, didn't he? Man, it looked like it was the opportunity of a lifetime. Surrounded by all those Brown season ticket holders putting on that black and gold Steelers emblem. Oof.
Is there trouble? Are you there? Is there trouble in paradise with Aaron Rodgers because of that pick?
No, I don't think because of that pick. I think Aaron Rodgers is obviously a very weird, mercurial guy. And the Steelers did something yesterday, which I think showed their hand somewhat, that despite what some of our insiders here have said, there is no guarantee that he's going to be back. So they're taking out insurance policies. If you don't think you might wreck your car, I don't think that you go pay for expensive insurance. And that's what they did yesterday. So I don't think it's 100% Aaron Rodgers comes here. I think it's 50-50 at best he comes back and plays this year.
I had a friend of mine. I'm serious about this. I'll swear on my children. I had a friend of mine ask or say that he felt that the Steelers are turning into the Browns. Do you worry that the Steelers are turning into the Browns?
Well, I'll say this. I mean, the Steelers drafting Will Howard last year and Drew Aller this year, I don't see how that's really that much different from drafting Dylan Gabriel and Shadur Sanders in the same draft. And I feel like the Browns mainly or mostly got ripped for that. And so I don't understand really how you're going to develop both guys and make both guys future franchise quarterbacks and give them the repetitions and work they need and all that stuff, especially when you're going to bring Aaron Rodgers back here potentially.
True.
Because then those guys will sit the entire year. And then if those guys sit the entire year, then what are you going to do in 2027? You're telling me you're not going to draft a quarterback in the first round if you have an opportunity? And then if you do, you'll have three guys here who've never played before. And that does sound very Browns, doesn't it?
It does. It does sound very Browns from years past. But you know what? I'm enjoying my team right now. I'm enjoying our draft. Did you think that the Browns had a good draft?
I did, actually. Yeah. I mean, it pains me to say it. I thought the Browns stole a lot of the Steelers' picks. I think they would have liked Fanu over the tackle they took if he, for some reason, fell in the draft. I think both wide receivers, especially Boston, I like. I think Concepcion I have more questions about because I think if you drop the ball in college, you're going to drop it in the pros. But, yeah, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren was another guy the Steelers really liked. So Steelers like the Browns draft. How about that? I bet you they were saying inside their war room, wow, another good pick by the Browns. Who knew they had it in them?
We did.
Mike Tomlin, was he anywhere to be found in this storied Pittsburgh draft? And what do you think about the rumors that he could be the next head coach of New England Patriots?
Wait, what?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you didn't hear that?
Yeah, overnight.
Who wrote that? Was that Daryl's story?
It was not Daryl.
Did you leave Daryl alone?
Ben, we had this earlier in the show.
Hold on, Anthony, before you finish your point. Ken.
What?
Leave Daryl alone. He came at me. Like, it's not like I just randomly attacked him. You don't get to say, hey, leave the bully alone. He tried to
tell you. Well, I'll tell you whatever I want. I don't care about telling you anything.
It's Ben Nagel of the Daily Mail. had the story.
Ben Nail's report.
Brownie Nagel, who passed away.
Damn, you're right. R.I.P. That's right. That's
R.I.P.
the point.
Yeah.
Fine quarterback. All right.
How happy is Pittsburgh with Jennings Dunker? Seemed like somebody that would be a fan favorite.
John Ledgert hated it. I heard him on Saturday when I was trying to call you for threatening listeners to come in and try to fight you.
Well, I didn't want to fight him. I wanted to talk about things amicably and, like men. We can have conversations without going to fisticuffs.
Didn't sound like it. Didn't sound like it.
651 Holiday Drive. Get in your car now. I'll be done at 2 o'clock.
You yelled the address at him.
And Pony is a man of his word. Did you give him the passcode to get in the building? Because, people know where we work, too.
Don't throw that out there either. Nut
Has
job.
anybody ever showed up to talk to you guys?
I'm not like you. I don't maintain enemies amongst the people.
People like us.
Well, they like me. I don't know if they like you so much, but they like me.
Bring us sandwiches.
Yeah, we get if people bring food to the station.
Yeah. What do you guys get?
Does Daryl get some too?
Yes, he does. When he's in with us, yes, he does. Absolutely.
Wow.
All right. Bye. Andrew Filipponi, 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh.
Taking shots at Daryl.
Part of the great triumvirate
Pony
that is.
was not a man of his word.
Around the AFC North. What do you mean? He quit.
And
quit
then
for
he
an
came
hour.
back.
He quit for an hour. He still quit.
I would have milked that a little longer.
Yeah, you and I. Well,
quick.
You and I are better at this than
Come
Pony,
on, the showmanship. You gotta take off a day or two.
What it does turn into is that it doesn't stop him from saying stupid stuff on the internet, and that's the issue. Is he says stupid things all over the time, all over the internet. I don't like it.
Do you think he was trying to kind of throw it out there, take the temperature to see how much he was missed, and then realize, not really seeing what I thought I'd see? I better hightail it back to the station.
I'm guessing that, yes. 9 o'clock, Jason. Sometimes you want to see your own funeral, and sometimes I'd rather see less. Jason Lloyd going to join us at 9 o'clock. Is this the biggest night of Donovan's career? I want to get back into that, but in 5 minutes, do I dare mess with fate? Do I dare try to say this, or am I going to turn myself into my own version of Andrew Filipponi comparing the Browns and Steelers? That's 5 away on the Fan.
All these
vehicle. We've got an accident on State Route 176 North beyond Denison because of an accident, and issues on I-90 East beyond Warren Road because of an accident. Jeff Thomas, Odyssey Cleveland Traffic.
In your weeknight with the best segments of the day. The Fan Rewind. Weeknights at 11.
Am I willing to say it? I'm nervous. Which makes me a total hypocrite because when I said how, hey, maybe you'd trust Andrew Barry a little more. I want to get back to the Cavs in Game 5 coming up tonight here in just moments, okay? Just let me get this off my chest. Is that I was saying, to make an example here, I was using Andrew Barry as an example and bringing up, like, hey, like this is a good draft. Now, I know they haven't played yet, but this is a good draft. Last year's draft was a good draft. This is why you don't fire a guy. And somebody's like, hey, Ken, they're cursed. And I go, no, they're not cursed. You're not cursed when you just make bad decisions in personnel. You hire the wrong people. You fire them very fast. Then you hire people that might have worked out, might not have worked out, but you didn't give them a chance to work out. And every time you hire a new person to come in and be the general manager, they got to, quote unquote, get their guys in. They got to get their guys. These guys aren't good. I need to reinvent Browns football in my image. So they do it, and then you don't give them a chance. And then the new guy comes in, and they get rid of him, and then you have a lost generation of Browns fans, as you would put it, right? 20-something years, only a couple of playoff appearances, and you really had to tank it out to be able to do that, and that was even fleeting, okay? So we're trying to get back up off the mat. And that all being pointed out, there was a question that was asked to me, and I had to ask it a pony right there, and I want to play that for everybody because there was the answer of, are the Steelers turning into the Browns pony?
Drafting Will Howard last year and Drew Aller this year, I don't see how that's really that much different from drafting Dylan Gabriel and Shadur Sanders in the same draft. And so I don't understand really how you're going to develop both guys and make both guys future franchise quarterbacks and give them the repetitions and work they need and all that stuff, especially when you're going to bring Aaron Rodgers back here potentially.
True.
Because then those guys will sit the entire year. And then if those guys sit the entire year, then what are you going to do in 2027? You're telling me you're not going to draft a quarterback in the first round of an opportunity? And then if you do, you have three guys here who've never played before. And that does sound very Browns, doesn't it?
So I would, back in the day, tell people on the CBS show, because I would get, people would look, if I'm ripping a team, and people look up where I'm from, like, you're from Cleveland. I go, yeah, that's why you should take it seriously. I might not know great football, but I know a bad team when I see a bad team, and I know a team that's going to be a bad team. And if I'm warning you about it, you better take it seriously because I've seen it all now. Every which way you could be bad, I've seen it with the Cleveland Browns. I'm not there yet with the Steelers. This draft was not great. Iannachor, you have to have a lot of faith in Campen there as your I think it's James Campen as their offensive line coach. I didn't look that up yesterday, and I'm just saying it again. He is a project. He's a very athletic project. He could be a very good player for him. But there were a lot of people who hated that draft in Pittsburgh, and I'm going, man, this does sound familiar, man. This really sounds familiar. But I'm just not there yet. Every time I say it, it does sound like a curse where if you say it, then it's going to go back on you. And it's one team that's been known for success over the last 30 years. The other team hasn't. And it takes a while for labels to go away, even positive labels to go away.
Yeah, I remember 4 years ago I said that I thought we were nearing the end of the Steelers and then came back to bite me like you were saying. But the fact that Tomlin's gone, and
it's Mike McCarthy.
I know,
it's just a different version of Tomlin.
Not that I think McCarthy's some awful coach.
He's not. He's a good coach.
And to some extent, I do have to give Pittsburgh credit. I know nobody in sports wants to be in the middle anymore or slightly above middle because you're incentivized to have bad teams sometimes so you can stock up in the draft and rebuild. They just have had an edict. We are not rebuilding. Even if we're not Super Bowl contenders, we owe it to our fans to give them a winning football team. And I think that in this day and age, there is something admirable about that, even though you'll never put up a banner. Mm-hmm. And in the end, no one will care because we only care about championships. Look at the Cavs. No one seems to care that they somehow managed to win 50 games this year. Why? Because they're probably not going to win the championship. And we've had a championship here. In Pittsburgh, they've had Super Bowls. So they measure everything up to that. With all that said, I look at the ages of some of the guys on defense and, hey, look, Cam Hayward was good again this year. The guy's amazing. He defies it, but eventually you need to turn this over. TJ Watt just looked bad during big portions of the season last year. He looked bad. He looked like a guy who's closer to the day he retires. I mean, every single day we're getting there with him. And obviously, Myles Garrett has taken off and continues to get better. He's ascending, and TJ Watt is descending. So Jalen Ramsey is another one. I mean, his best football is behind him. I don't think there's any question.
But I have fantasized at times about being, because I've never seen really bad runs of Steeler football.
Right.
And it bothers me as a fan of the Cleveland Browns. But I have had this fantasy before that plays out where we hold the Browns. The Browns have had success. We hold the Browns to a higher standard, and then we're the team that's like, we're just going to go 9-8 this year, and we're going to make the playoffs, but nobody really cares. And I want to be the guy to go, hey, man, I've seen Browns dysfunction and real bad Browns football. I never want to go back to there. And fighting people as some old man, hopefully, God willing, I'd be some old man fighting with younger people about where I've seen the Browns be and how we never want to get back to that again. Because that's what I've warned Steelers fans about. But I still stop short because they still got to put the helmets on. And I think that these guys can help. I think that you can find you have 5 guys who can be solid starters. I'm worried. I'm not worried, but I'm a little hesitant about Brailsford because he is a 5th-round pick. They love him. And I'm saying that he could be their starter week 1 at the center position. That's still a bit of a stretch. We'll find out. But you still got at least 4 guys who I think are going to be starters and contribute to this football team. In this draft, that's out of the park. That's a grand slam by Andrew Berry. And I haven't seen that out of the Steelers. And usually those type of praises are laid on by the Steelers. But I also have to guard against, hey, man, people have loved the Jets drafts for how many years? Until they got to trade those guys 3 years later to get more picks, to have more quote-unquote great drafts. So it can go either way. And I got to hold it back a little bit. I'm really excited about this. I'm really excited that I think that they are building successfully. And I know we made jokes, but, oh, God, I don't know if I'm willing to go this far. We got Mary Kay on tomorrow, 8:20. We talk about windows. You had to draft those guys at some point. You might not have the quarterback to get there. But your competition window, if I have high hopes for last year's class and this year's class. Well, it had to start somewhere, but they still got to go out and do it. And I can talk tough. I can put my faith back in Andrew Berry a little bit. But they still got to go out there and play the games. And there's still going to be, because they're young kids, there's still going to be some struggles. I think there's talent there, but there's still going to be a couple of games. There hopefully will be a game or two that they weren't supposed to win that they win, and there's going to be a couple games that they were supposed to win and they absolutely lose, and we're going to be pulling our hair out. They're kids.
I just thought they had Tomlin magic, and that magic was not Super Bowl winning magic over the last decade plus. It's just been, man, the Steelers are hanging around. How are they doing it? And I wonder if you lose that magic, I think this could be a bad football team. Could they seriously go 5-12?
And that type of feeling is the same feeling like they're more vocal on the internet. They'll never call in. Not right now. But there are some people who are kind of wishy-washy about this draft going, yeah, they think it's a good draft. But they also think we're going to do a Steelers thing where it's like we'll never be up at the top to be able to replace the quarterback that we need to be able to replace. And I'm like, guys, like you said, any idiot can tear a football team down. It takes smarts. It takes know-how. It takes a consistent approach to be able to put together a football team that's worth complaining about instead of whatever mess that was over the last couple of years that people didn't even care about over the last couple of years. Real Browns fans didn't care about, and there are a lot of Browns fans who thought that the arguments that we were having over you-know-who was a total waste of time. And they still feel that way about that young man. He has to change that. I ain't talking about Deshaun. So there's pressure on him again. Speaking of pressure, how much pressure is on this Cavaliers team? A mountain of pressure. Does the series end tonight? I'm trying to talk myself into it. That if they win, the series is over. Cavs are going to win the series. You said if they lose, you think the series is over. Even if they lose, you think the series is over. At 3-2 and you lose at home going back to Toronto, I got to admit I'm going to be glad I'm not on the air on Monday because I'm going to be worried about Friday. I'm going to be real worried about Friday. And I think I'm trying to talk myself into it because this should be a 3-1 series. This should be not a worry. We should be having a coronation. We should be paying closer attention to Orlando and Detroit, watching Orlando. And I am frustrated. And I'm frustrated about what's being said about this team again because I could deny it last year against Indiana. But when you have Draymond Green calling your team soft, calling Jared Allen soft, it bothers me because I got no argument right now. Because as he said it, they're going right through his chest, and he's right about it.
Jared Allen seems to get in these playoffs and get really, really, really soft, man. He gets in the playoffs and turns into a completely different player. And not for the better. He gets really, really, really soft in these playoff games. And I just don't understand it. Colin Murray Burroughs understands it, though. He said, I'm going right at your chest.
That's a tough thing to hear.
And that, by the way,
can I deny it, though?
All of that matches the eye test, except I do think Jared Allen, he summoned whatever he had left for rebounding. He could at least do that. He's still not as active a defender. He's not scoring on the short roll or anything like that.
But I don't think a lot of people want to hear that excuse anymore. I think they look at it and go, everybody's banged up. Jason Tatum's coming off an Achilles injury. Nobody's crying tears for them. By the way, that audio courtesy of the Draymond Green Show. Like, this is a dead-on test. And we didn't even play the worst audio. I don't even want to play it because they call certain people certain words, and I think it's ridiculous on that Bill Simmons podcast you listen to. But this is a direct test to your manhood as a basketball team. I hate to say it. And in the past, Indiana, I think he answered it. I just think they were a better team. But in the other instances, yeah, man, you failed. And they're calling you out again. And tonight, you're a better basketball team. You are a more talented team. You lose tonight, there's going to be one big reason, is that you're lacking the heart and you're lacking the desire, what it takes to go to the next level. And I can't make you have it.
Better get off to a good start today.
Might be the biggest night of the year or biggest night of the life of somebody else. Who is that? We'll tell you in 5 minutes. It might be the biggest interview of Jason Lloyd's career, talking about this Cavs team coming up at 9 on The Fan.
All right.
When there's news that affects the Cleveland sports fan, Darrow Ryder is on top of every headline. Listen to his reports on the station with the most local sports talk in town. 92.3 The Fan. Powered by Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
All day long.
All day.
All the time.
At work.
92.3thefan.com and the Odyssey app.
Check it out.
All them Cavs conversations brought to you by the fine folks at Surfside Hard Iced Tea that ask you to please enjoy Surfside Hard Iced Tea responsibly. Conversation coming in about Donovan Mitchell, about Evan Mobley, about Jarrett Allen to a certain degree after what Draymond Green had just said. There's a little bit about James Harden as well. Social media reactions on X brought to you by
Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
Our buddy Mark. He's a Steelers fan, by the way. He brought me pizza to the open house you couldn't go to, so he's a friend now.
Oh, that's very nice.
Yeah, Mark brought me pizza.
Yeah.
I was like, brother, we have traded some barbs over the Browns and Steelers. You, sir, you know the weight of my heart. It's right through my big fat gut. We are buddies now. Mark says they cannot lose tonight. Series is over if they do. This isn't only Donovan's biggest game of his career, but as well as Harden's. They need to erase that playoff failure stink.
Well, here's James Harden, and if he's confident for Game 5.
We're extremely confident. The series is just getting started, basically. I think everybody's thrown, a lot of punches at each other, and Game 5 is an opportunity for us to, to take advantage of the series.
So Kenny, I honestly think that's maybe part of the issue. I do think that they have no shortage of confidence. And what have they done to earn it?
Well, they should. They're a better basketball team. They're the highest paid team in the NBA.
Well, here's what I'm getting at. Like, if you look at the types of turnovers that Donovan Mitchell and James Harden have committed these last two games, I mean, Donovan Mitchell not getting that ball past half court, I don't care what the final report said or anything
I know,
like
and
that.
I was soft about it. I was soft. I know.
For James Harden to try to sell that push near half court, or for James Harden to try to throw that pass down the left sideline, for somebody as brilliant as James Harden is, that is just dumbfounding. So you have two guys who are high IQ players making some of the biggest mistakes. It almost feels like they thought they were on cruise control after they won the first two games and are like, we're fine. We don't need to play with urgency. We don't need to play like our hair is on fire. And I want to know how they could possibly feel that way, because we are talking about legacies. Now, James Harden's legacy is intact. All-time great regular season player. And at 37.
Yeah, but he doesn't like hearing that. No one likes hearing that.
He doesn't.
No.
But there wasn't going to be a lot that James Harden could do that was going to change anything. Donovan Mitchell, on the other hand, the not getting past the second round stuff that's followed him around, I feel like in most situations, the way people talk about him, they're like, yeah, but his teams, he needed more help. He had the big performances.
Yeah, it's going to go out the window.
He scored 40 and 50 in all these games. But you just threw up two duds. And if you make it three in a row, this is why the pressure is on. And this is why they absolutely cannot get behind early in this game, because that crowd will turn on them. It'll be boo birds by half. I mean, do you remember that against Orlando, Game 7?
Ain't going to happen.
They were getting it, and they came back. They came back in that game and somehow won.
Not going to happen.
But I don't see them mentally being able to deal with that.
They're winning tonight. It ain't going to happen. And you're going to say, Kenny, you're burying your head in the sand. I swear to God, on my kids and on yours, I am not burying my head in the sand. If you're on your way into work and you're about to get out of the car right now, I want you to stay there just for a second. If you're going to take anything away from this show today about what I've been saying about the Cavs, it's not me trying to deny the truth, that there's pressure on this team, that Toronto's in their first playoffs with this group. The pressure's on the Cavs. So in a sense, they got the Cavs on the ropes. The pressure's all on us. I'm just going to hold you to a higher standard. I've said a lot of things about the Cavs that I think that they're going to be a good basketball, that they're going to be going to the finals. I've been wrong before. I know that nobody cares when I've been right. I'll handle being made fun of for being wrong. I don't care about that. I want to be right. I want to have faith in this team. But this is on you guys. I mean, we're talking legacy here. They don't give a damn about me. They don't give a damn about anybody else. This is about your legacies here. This is the biggest game of Donovan's career. And you know what? Game 6 will then be the biggest game of Donovan's career, because it feels like you're in a hole and it's a 2-2 series. So there's no reason for me to lose my mind. I'm just going to hold you to a higher standard. They have made significant trades to make this team better. They made a significant trade to start this whole thing with Donovan. You're the highest paid team in the NBA. You have the most expensive roster in the NBA. You have a coach that won Coach of the Year last year. I got no excuses for you. So go out and win. Because if you don't, I don't think there's much passion and anger and frustration. It's fine. You guys won out. Break it up because it ain't worth a damn getting upset about in the first place. That's what's at stake. This isn't me. This is me not burying my head in the sand. This is as clear as I possibly can be. The cosmic tumblers are in place, brother. And I see you for what you are. And what you are is still going to be a team that has questionable heart and questionable desire. And if you can't get over the Toronto Raptors as a 5 seed, then it wasn't even worth our problem.
And I think that's the hard part about it. Toronto has not been here.
They ain't losing tonight.
They have not been here before. They should have been feeling the pressure in this series, and then you should have pounced on them and stepped on their neck. And instead, you had a bunch of guys that were scared. They did play scared. And I've heard all the national guys, they have picked apart Harden and the turnovers. Guys, they were up 8 with all those turnovers from James Harden. Okay, the end of that game was not his fault.
Close it out.
It wasn't great. I mean, don't get me wrong. That was not a good Harden game or anything like that. But I feel like people are going down their checklist like, oh, Harden, playoffs, must have been bad. It's like, well, I don't know. Last year in Game 6 against the Denver Nuggets, he put up 30-plus points. Like, I think he's capable of having a big game. I need other guys to be unafraid. James Harden was not afraid to take shots in that game. I saw a bunch of other guys who were.
Yeah, Jay Correo, too. Lima's right about the cruise control stuff he's saying right now. So many nonchalant mistakes. It's why it doesn't matter if they're the better team or not. If you're playing like that, talent can only overcome so much. 8-second violations are gross. And I got to tell you,
that wasn't all. Wait, real quick.
It did seem like they were waiting for Toronto to just roll over and die,
which they didn't do
in a bad basketball game, and they didn't do. They have to be more determined than you.
I thought they would too. I just thought Toronto was going to be very limited and be very new to this. And no, they want to win this series now, and they are throwing counters and they are throwing blows at you, and they're not afraid. Now, can they win a game in Cleveland? That is going to be a big question. They're big underdogs, but that lackadaisical stuff, I talked about some of the plays. The bizarro foul of when it was Donovan Mitchell, like intentionally fouling, and even Jay Bills was like, what was he doing? Like, that's somebody who is a veteran in this league and at times has been a top 7-ish, 6, 7, 8-ish player in the league, definitely top 10. He's making mistakes like that. Like, there have been a number. The Evan Mobley, after a miss, coming down the floor and just poking Scotty in the eye for no reason. Dumb. Your team is doing dumb stuff, Kenny. Your team is doing
say something else.
Your team is doing really brain dead things, and you're the veteran team. So I didn't see that brain dead stuff all season.
It's got to be a wake up.
So where is that coming from?
It's got to be a wake up.
Is that a test of their mental aptitude and whether or not they can properly manage the pressure? Because that makes me very nervous.
This will wake them up. There's guys. I'm not going to guarantee a victory because I don't want to stare into the camera and be ridiculed for the rest of my life. But they ain't losing tonight. There's no way. No way. You're the better basketball team. You got better pros on your team. Toronto may be there someday. I'm not ripping on Toronto and saying they're bad. I'm not doing that. I got a lot of respect for the Raptors. Got a lot of respect for the coach.
Toronto's got nobody that can really create a shot from the perimeter. Like, these guys are just pounding you, going right at you.
Cavs ain't losing this series. They're not, and they're not losing tonight. It is an impossibility. They cannot allow it. They can't allow it. It's not happening. Jason Lloyd joining us next from The Athletic. Does he disagree with me? Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. Where else but 92.3 The Fan, 92.3thefan.com. That absolutely free Odyssey app. Guys, get it now. It's absolutely free. Win donation.
spent the last 3 years with the Denver Broncos. Want to catch highlights from the Fan from earlier today? Go over to 923thefan.com or favorite 923 The Fan on the Odyssey app for all today's headline segments. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 923 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Listen to 92.3 The Fan on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn app.
92.3 The Fan, looking for a winner. Enter the code word GOOD, G-O-O-D, at 923thefan.com before 10 a.m. It's all G-O-O-D, good. Your chance to win a pair of tickets to the R&B Tour starring Usher Raymond and Chris Brown. July 7th at Huntington Bank Field. Tickets on sale now. Ticketmaster.com. It's all from Live Nation and Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
We're still getting Jason on the phone. You just unlocked a core memory for me. I forgot. I played on a select fall baseball team.
You had Mo
when
Thugs?
I was a kid. No.
Oh.
And we played this team called the Coventry Lookouts.
Success.
And they used to do this, G-O-O-D-E-Y-E, good eye, good eye, good eye. I'd be like, oh, my God, we're not playing softball. Shut up.
Wait, these were guys' teams? Boys' teams?
This was 7th grade. It was 7th grade. 7th grade, we played in this travel. It was like a select team in fall baseball.
You did not do the chance.
I didn't do the chance.
Okay.
They did. We didn't do it. We were going, what are you doing? Shut up.
I would have left that league.
We won the league. Why would I leave the league?
Yeah, no wonder you won the league. You were going up against teams of chanters.
Well, there's only one. It was just one team of chanters. What? Nothing?
Oh, and you're not disgusted to hear that he played in a league where they were doing...
There was one team doing the chant. We weren't doing the chant. We were just winning championships. That's all we were doing. Jason Perry coaching third base. Oh, he was sending everybody. You think Rugi Odor sends people? Oh, boy.
Against a team doing choreography in the other dugout?
He did not care. Well, I remember our first
Savannah
practice.
Bananas?
I remember our first practice because Jason knew me since I was 5 years old. He actually saved me from drowning. And I, held up at 30. He's like, no.
Congratulations on all your success.
Get your fat ass around third base and head home. I was like, why? He goes, kid's going to get excited. He's going to throw it way off. And sure as hell, I never got thrown out of the plate once that year. That was a good baseball manager, Jason Perry was. He knew what the hell he was doing. Jason Lloyd joining us right now on the show. He's a terrible baseball manager. And he joins us on the Make It Right Call Kyle Wright hotline. Hello, Jason.
Sorry, I was married too late. I was finishing up a football staff meeting there that I couldn't miss.
Whoa! Shots fired right off the bat.
We'll talk about that at the end of the interview, okay? Let's get down to business. Are the Cavaliers going to win tonight?
They better.
Yeah. I want to know, are they going to win tonight? Because I said the same thing. I'm like, they ain't going to lose tonight because they have to win.
Yeah, I think they win tonight. I was disappointed with how they played Game 4. Wasn't really surprised they lost 3. I thought they'd lose 1 up there and then win the next 2. They are the far superior team talent-wise. It's frustrating that this is a 2-2 series. I mean, look around the East. All these teams are, Boston lost again last night. Detroit's clinging to their life right now. The Knicks got more of a fight than they thought out of the Hawks. I still thought that the talent disparity in this series, the Cavs were the far superior team. I thought they'd win in 5. So really disappointed sort of how I thought they laid down the last 5-6 minutes of that game in Game 4, which is concerning because you can't do that on the road. I still think they win the series. They win tonight and they win the series.
Can we say the series is over if they win tonight?
No. Not after those 2 performances on the road. This is kind of playing out like the Orlando series from a couple years ago where they were up 2-0. Everyone's like, yeah, this is a wrap. And then they went down to Orlando, and they lost both. And then they came home, and they were in a street fight for 7 games. And that very well may be how this winds up. I think I would like to think that they win 6 up there. But after the way they played up there the last 2 games, I don't know how you can be confident in that. I would say 6, but not very confidently.
You got to understand how fairly depressing this is that this is a team that should be much better. And I should give the Raptors credit, but this is their first jump into the playoffs. We're seeing how Detroit's struggling with the brighter lights here. They are much more talented. They're a talented team. They're a more talented team. They're much more experienced. Sunday was an abomination. It seemed like they were just waiting for Toronto to die, and Toronto would never die. And now they're stuck in this stupid spot where people are wringing their hands again, getting upset again. And I think what's most frustrating here for me, Jason, and I'll lay out and I'll let Lima ask you some questions. I know I'm bogarting the time here. But I've heard Nick and Anthony make wild proclamations about the Cavs, good and bad, and at each other, good and bad. And I still don't have an identity for this team. And I know they made a trade, but it's like I said earlier, you're nailing Jello to the wall. I had Nick, who was questioning them all throughout the year, and then he's guaranteeing a sweep on Friday. And then I have you over here calling everybody idiots, saying they don't know basketball. And now he's saying he's not going to watch Game 6 if they lose tonight, Jason. I swear to God, he meant it too. Go back on the tape on the free Odyssey app.
Lima said he's not watching 6 if they
He
lose?
says he ain't watching
Not
Friday if
subjecting
they
myself
lose.
to that.
Yeah, we both know that's not going to happen. The identity of this team is it's a guard-driven team. It's two ball-dominant guys, and when they don't play well, they crash. And that's what you saw in Toronto. And, before the series started, I said the way that Toronto steals the game is play fast, create turnovers, and the Cavs miss shots. Well, that's exactly what happened in 3 and 4 up there. The Cavs just turned the ball over way too much, and they can't make a shot. So they are going to live and die by the 3. And when they die, it's a gruesome death. And that's what you saw. Now, I think that they playing at home again and everything, everybody knows you play better at home. And I can't believe that Donovan and James have both played that poorly again in tonight. So, again, that's why I think that they win 5. But their identity is they are a guard-dominant team. They're very heavy to ball handler heavy guys. And if they both don't play well, if they both have off nights, the Cavs are extremely vulnerable. And that's not to let anybody else off the hook, because Evan Mobley's got to be better. And nobody has championed Evan over the years more than I have. I wrote after last season ended, if they're ever going to get past the second round, it's got to be Evan who leads them. And clearly that didn't happen this year, and that's part of the reason they had to go out and make the Harden trade. So he's got to be better. He can't be pushed around. He's got to be better defensively. He had a couple great games at home. I think they changed up a little bit some of the way that they were guarding the Cavs pick and rolls, and eliminated the bigs and made the guards shoot more. And the Cavs got to make those shots.
Jason Lloyd with us. One of the bigger themes that I think has emerged that is troubling to me, you let me know if I'm alone on this, is that when they traded for James Harden, I said, hey, this evolved version of James Harden is going to be great because he's not the 2018 Hall of Fame, but also heliocentric MVP version of Harden. This one is more cerebral. The passing that we saw in the regular season, setting guys up, seemed like it was his mission. And then we get in the playoffs, and I don't think it's James Harden's fault. I think the team is treating him like he's the 2018 James Harden. His usage has skyrocketed. They throw the ball to him with 5 seconds on the shot clock, and it's like, bail us out of this bad possession. How did it come to be that this version of James Harden is going right back to the version that we know cannot carry a team in the playoffs?
It's a great question. It's a great observation, and I don't have a great answer for you other than it's what I wrote after the crash out against Indiana. We know how far a Donovan-led team gets, and that's not a knock on Donovan. Like, it's people that take it as such, but it's not. Like, undersized guards have ceilings in terms of how far they can carry a team when they're all by themselves. And maybe there's a little of that playing into it. I don't know. I don't have a great answer for you. But, yeah, I mean, I championed the Harden trade. I thought it was a great move. I thought they had to do something to sort of get the plane off the ground. And, I wrote after game 1 that you've got two guys that have both had levels of postseason failure, now sort of relying on the other one to fix it and to get out of it. And James is, like, everybody talks about James's terrible playoff performances, and that's fair. He's got to wear them. But he's also had some really, really good playoff games. And this is a night where the Cavs really could use one of those tonight.
All right, Jason, when you think about this organization and pushing the chips forward, saying goodbye to Darius, breaking up the core 4, and we think about what could be coming for this team, how do you think they are feeling about this series, but also knowing that, hey, the rest of the East is still wide open. None of the favorites have looked good at all. This still does seem open. Do you think their confidence is a little shaken, or do you think it's just a matter of, hey, they were up 8 with 4 minutes to go in that last game. They would have been up 3-1, and that would have been a wrap. Where do you think their psyches are at this point?
I mean, it's still, everything's right there in front of them. And you're right. The East is still open. I would probably still pick Boston. I know I would. I would still pick Boston to beat them in a series. I still think the Cavs could beat any other team out in the field. But you mentioned their psyche, and I do think that's fair, and it's a little bit of a concern. And I'm curious to see how they come out tonight, only because, like, was it game 2 at home? It was game 2, and they lost game 2 last year to Indy, and they're in an 0-2 hole. I had someone from another team call me like, their body language is awful. Why are the Cavs so down? Like, they're the better team. Don't they realize that they're still the better team? And so that's the sort of thing that you sort of worry about with them is if they fall into a rut tonight, will that happen again? I don't think it will, because I think that they know they're the better team and they're the more talented team. But going forward into future series, when the competition level rises, yeah, I think that's a fair concern to have about these guys.
I've never heard people talk about Evan Mobley the way they have in this series. It seems like there's been a national conversation shift. And yes, we overreact to these games without a doubt. But he's being guarded a lot of times by R.J. Barrett. Those should be easy buckets. Like, he should be able to score on him. He's a big. That's a wing. I can't imagine that the Cavs thought it would go anything like this. So it's making things hard. They've got basically only 2 guys they're guarding in the starting lineup, and that's why the pick and roll's not working, because they're just sitting there in the paint. So this Evan series, the rest of this series, just how monumental will it be for him and his future?
He got paid. I don't know how monumental it can really be. He's a max player, so that's in the bank. He played well at home, and he wasn't very good in Toronto. So they need the Cleveland version of how he played in the first couple of games, and it's in there. It's in there. That's been the maddening part with him throughout his career, is you've seen the flashes and you've seen the burst. And last year it looked like he really was putting it all together, and then this year it sort of fell off again. So it's sort of that inconsistency with him more than anything that I think is frustrating for fans, and has to be frustrating for the organization as well, that you just want to see a little bit more dog come out of him, particularly in moments like this. So it's a big game. It's a big moment for him. I hope he meets the moment. But I can't say it's monumental. It's a first round game, and they got a lot more monumental games to come here, hopefully over the next few weeks.
I'm just looking big picture. Like, if for whatever reason this thing goes south and they don't, the levers that they can pull to continue to add, they don't really exist where they're at the double apron. And we'd be talking about a huge pivot from just the core of this team as is. They already saw the start of it with the Garland trade. So that's why I think it could be monumental, because they were talking about Giannis trades last year. What else is in play, if this thing goes south?
Well, we're getting way ahead. Like, we can have this conversation in a couple weeks, but it's all Donovan driven. And the key to this summer is getting him to sign an extension. And once that happens, or whatever it takes to get that to happen, I think he will have a voice in how the rest of the roster is shaped.
What do you mean by that, Jason?
If he wants Evan here, Evan will be here.
Well, I can't just snap my fingers and trade Evan. I got to find the right partner to trade Evan.
Giannis will probably be on the market again this summer.
So we're just going to be able to get Giannis? Because,
isn't he 11 teams chasing him.
Yeah, well, isn't he on record saying that? He's not on. Isn't it reported that he's saying that Milwaukee doesn't really give him what he wants, and he maybe would like a bigger city? And I'm like, well, if you're Giannis, when you just see Cleveland as Milwaukee East, I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't think it's as easy as we'll trade for Giannis and that'll be it.
Well, I think Evan is probably the most appealing piece that Milwaukee could get in a trade for it. And again, I don't want to have this. We're in the first round of the playoffs. I don't want to have this conversation right now. But these are all things these are all things that are looming down the road. It's not for today.
Yeah, but you can't help but think about it when it's a 2-2 series and you lost a sloppy game to a team that you're better than.
Yeah, hopefully next week we're not having this conversation.
Well, I won't be having this conversation with you. I'll be gone next week. I won't be here.
Oh, well, congratulations on all your success.
Thank you. I work hard.
Jason, you like the Browns draft?
Yeah, I would say everything that everybody else has probably already said. I said yesterday, I think the receivers are going to determine the success of this draft, because I have no concerns about Fano. I do think that the size thing is relevant with him, and I talked to somebody who wondered if maybe he is going to have to move to guard at some point. Certainly, he's going to play left tackle this year.
That sounds like a concern. You said you had no concerns, and now you're moving him.
Boy, why are you so concerned? Why are you moving guys around? He's going to play left tackle.
Yes, this year he's going to. I'm just saying, I think he's going to be on the Browns for 10 years. He's going to have a great career.
He was an All-American at left tackle. Why do I want to move him around now?
Another flip-flop.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Okay.
Maybe you should have went to a football meeting. Maybe you would have known more about football players.
All right. Well, remember that. Remember that. And listen, all I'm saying is I do think that the size thing is real with him staying at left tackle. Maybe he's so athletic he overcomes it. That very well could be. And he plays 10 years at left tackle and he has a tremendous career. All I'm saying is I have no concerns about him being a Brown for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years. I think he's going to be a terrific offensive lineman no matter where he plays. The crux of this draft to me is the receivers because their playmakers have been so horrendous and clearly they need an upgrade. But, to hear people talk about Carnell Tate going into the draft was, yeah, he's good. He's going to help a team, but he's not this elite game changer that a lot of the other Ohio State receivers have come to be. And he goes 4. So you see what I'm saying? So the concern is how good are these guys really? And you're about to find out. If they hit on 2 receivers, then this becomes another home run draft. I just think the receivers are going to drive how good this draft truly becomes a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, how we're talking about it. Are these guys going to lead the next wave of great Browns football, or are these guys Muhammad Massaquoi and Brian Robisky? We'll find out.
No one on this show said it, but it has been said on our station by somebody that if Ty Simpson was there at 24, maybe the Browns would have taken him or should have taken him. I don't think that the Browns were taking Ty Simpson if he fell to 24, but I want to know from you.
No, I don't think they would have taken him. No.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to make sure. That's all. Yeah. Jason, sorry I couldn't make your party.
I'm just messing with you, man. I don't care. There's plenty of people who did care enough about me to make it. So,
what does that mean? I don't care about you?
Is there going to be a 27th anniversary party? Will there be a 29th?
That was not my idea. Clearly, that was not my idea.
It was a fabulous event. It was good to see the who's who of Northeast Ohio journalism all together in one room without Ken.
Was the guy who won't talk to me, was he at that party?
No, he was not.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
You could have been like Jimmy Carter if he were there and I were there. But
something brewing behind the scenes?
I'll talk to him. He just won't talk to me. But all right, Jason, thank you.
Bye, boys.
See you in hell. Jason Lloyd from The Athletic on the Make It Right, Call Kyle Wright hotline. Were you satisfied with those answers? I think you were. Yes? You're nodding your head. They can't see you.
This Donovan game is just monumental.
Not very, yeah. But they're not going to lose because they can't lose because it's the biggest game in Donovan's career, but it's someone else who needs to step up the most. I'll tell you who, coming up in 5 on The Fan.
celebrities. And every Monday, you're stuck with just me and Dana. We react to news, what's trending, viral clips. Follow and listen to Fly on the Wall everywhere you get your podcasts.
This is where Cleveland fans turn to talk Cavs basketball. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
We gonna get this Guardians game in today?
What? You said we gonna get this game in today, and you didn't hear me, and I go, yeah, Cavs will get it in.
Yeah, I heard.
Did you really think I was talking about the Cavs?
No.
They did confirm they're keeping the roof closed on Rocket
They
Arena
should.
tonight.
That's a good move.
Be a hell of a home court advantage if we took the roof off the place.
Well,
considering the weather
tried
right
to
now.
blow the roof off of it a couple times.
Hey, we need a Cavalanche today. That'd be nice. Let's get a Cavalanche.
Well, yeah, you spent the money on the whole thing. You've only got to use it twice this year. I don't like the vibes, man. I don't like the vibes. I'm getting called out for guaranteeing, but not guaranteeing a victory, saying that, Ken, you're guaranteeing. What's your guarantee? I said wouldn't guarantee it. He's like, well, you said you'd win. I go, okay, I guess you got me there. I'm not going to guarantee it because I don't want to say guarantee, because if they lose, then I wear it like a cloak of failure. I'm sorry, guys. That ain't going to be the way it's going to go down. They're not going to lose because they can't lose. They can't lose. They're the better team. And they're the more experienced team, and they're the team that has more pressure on them. So they cannot lose this game. It is impossible for them to do so. Because if they do, I think a lot more people agree with Tone than I want to realize. I think there's going to be a lot of people who go, yeah, what else is on? Cavs are on the road up in Toronto, Game 6. I'm going to watch the Cavs on Game 6 on Friday. But I think if they lose this game tonight, there are going to be a lot of folks going, what the hell?
I just
see what
wonder,
the Guardians are
after
doing.
what I saw out of Philadelphia last night, when that team came out and they played inspired on the road with Joel Embiid, a guy that we just assumed was not even going to be able to move. And he goes out there, drops 30. Maxey, who's been banged up, he's doing what he's doing. Paul George, it was a throwback. I'd like to see some of that. Can we see some of that tonight for our Cavaliers? Would that be too much to ask? You're still massive favorites in the series.
If they win tonight, I mean, they are still, is it 9.5-point favorites? If they
I'm
win,
seeing 8.5
8.5.
now.
Okay,
so bet it down a little bit.
So it's dropped by a point. I mean, you're 8.5-point favorites. So if you win tonight by a bunch, there's still. I wanted to say the series was over. I think it's only over one way for Cavs fans. I think if they win this series, you're up 3-2. We'll see what happens up in Toronto to hopefully close this thing out. You lose this game tonight, I think for a lot of fans are like, yep, I'm not going to pay attention on Friday. I'm going to wait for the inevitable to happen.
Well, I wonder
because
about
you don't have a lot of faith in their heart.
I know.
That's what's so disheartening.
I know that some of the players yesterday talked about getting off to a fast start, and I really think that's important in this regard because we've seen, this isn't just a Cleveland thing either. So this isn't me going after Cleveland fans. I think the fans that are in that arena have been awesome this entire run, even when they've been a disappointment.
I think it's a normal human condition.
I'm telling you right now that the psyche of those fans are, after the amazing intro that the Cavs put together every year, after the Carmina Burana, and just the way that place before tip-off just feels like an NBA Finals game every game. It doesn't matter when. And if those guys fall flat on their face right off the bat, or it looks like they haven't woken up yet, I mean, you'll lose them. You'll lose any home court advantage, and they'll start to work against you. Because that building,
they're going to be frustrated.
They will. They'll be going through it. They'll be venting. It'll get louder. It'll turn into booze if you don't watch out. So you want to talk about pressure. That pressure is on them to get off to a great start.
I think this is the biggest game of Donovan's career because of what he's fighting. But I think what Jason Lloyd said was completely right, where if they're going to get to where they need to go, it has to be because of somebody else. Here's Jason from The Athletic with us just moments ago.
If they're ever going to get past the second round, it's got to be Evan who leads them. And clearly that didn't happen this year, and that's part of the reason they had to go out and make the Harden trade. So he's got to be better. He can't be pushed around. He's got to be better defensively. He had a couple great games at home. I think they changed up a little bit some of the way that they were guarding the Cavs pick and rolls, and eliminated the bigs and made the guards shoot more. And the Cavs got to make those shots.
You are a ball knower. I'll defer to you. If you're Toronto,
used to be.
Well, you're still a ball knower.
Feels like it faded over the last few days.
You're a ball forgetter.
Well, you have no backbone at all, do
I know.
you?
No. Well, that's blame the team on
Well,
that.
you know,
he used to have backboard.
He used to have backbone. He used to be that way. Because I mean, Anthony Bennett, he doesn't care. He'll fight anybody over Anthony Bennett. It doesn't matter to him. But like now,
Look,
it's like
the guy
I'm
had
gonna
sleep
be
apnea.
wishy-washy.
You're still going to hold that again. I didn't know he had sleep apnea. Okay, I didn't know his
you gotta
eyes.
find that out.
I didn't know his eyes were having issues.
That was a thing. That was a thing. You needed to do that. You needed to figure that out. Do your freaking scouting, okay? Do your scouting. The other thing is what you need to do. What the hell was I going with this?
Sleep studies.
Is Toronto going to change their game plan?
No, I mean, I think Toronto, they feel like they've solved the Cavs. Now, I will say, playoff series, okay, I'm going to put the ball knower cap back on. Over the course of a series.
You don't pick and choose when you're a ball knower. I don't pick and choose when I'm a football guy. I'm a football guy. Owen's a football guy.
You will see.
Stephen Vogt, what's he know me as?
Football guy.
Bingo.
Football guy, yeah.
Not taking that hat off.
You will see throughout the course of, if this is like a 7-game series, you know, you've already seen like the Jakob Poeltl stuff. The Cavs played him off the floor in the first 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's it for him for the series. They have found a way to keep him back in. And some of that has to do with the Cavs' just lack of aggressiveness.
You're right.
And the Cavs' lack of confidence because some of those guys have lost their confidence. You'll see a guy like Max Strus will, because he's such a streak shooter, he is a guy who hustles at all times. He looks like he's shot out of a cannon on like a rebound attempt. But guys like that will come and go throughout a series. So just because stuff worked for Toronto in those 2 games in Toronto, that doesn't necessarily mean it's all going to work. Now, I will warn everybody, like their best 3-point shooter has missed his last like 13 threes, and they've all been wide open.
So eventually they got to heat it up. But what I'm pointing out is that, do you think that what Toronto's been doing over the last couple of games, I should have phrased it this way, because I'm trying to get to something here, and I'm leading you around the block. Do you think that Toronto, what they did the last 2 games, is going to give them the best chance to win?
Yes, trying to do it. Yes.
Putting ball pressure on Donovan Mitchell and James Harden.
Sure.
Then it's got to be Evan Mobley who steps up.
The top blocking, all that stuff.
Because if you're not hitting your shots, which they weren't hitting their shots, if you're going to have ball pressure, which obviously they were, I mean, good God, we're talking about 8-second violations here, then damn it, Evan's going to have to be the one to do it. He's going to have to be the one to do it. I mean, we're all talking about this being a legacy game for Donovan Mitchell. You want to talk about legacies? This is Evan's legacy in Cleveland. This is Evan's legacy in his own draft class tonight.
Oh, that's a great point.
The pressure we're talking about here.
We talked about that matchup before the series about Scotty and Evan. It was going to be a referendum on that draft.
And in the first couple of games, I'm like, oh, my God, I can't believe any of us even thought, and myself included, even thought Scotty Barnes could ever be anywhere near Evan Mobley. And, man, these last couple of ones.
Well, after hearing Evan talk, much like you guaranteed a win tonight, I'm guaranteeing Evan Mobley's going to bring his best game.
Focus on the process. I think still in a good spot. We have home court advantage in this game. And, just be positive. Me personally, definitely got to be more aggressive and attack the paint as much as possible.
He's not worried about them. He's not worried about Scotty Barnes.
I think we got to form a crowd around him. I feel like first 2 games we did a good job of that, and he didn't get ahead of steam as well. You can't let him get ahead of steam. We got to kind of crowd him, play him to our strength, and put numbers around
ahead
him.
Of steam.
Not make it easy around all their guys. That's what they've been doing to us, honestly. So we got to do the same to them and make it tougher.
I don't know. Maybe picking him up 80 feet from the basket, and then when he gets by the first guy and then has a head of steam, maybe an adjustment, Kenny Atkinson. Maybe an adjustment would be in order.
I was about to say, I didn't make.
And again, it should be a personal affront. Like right now, have some stones in this series, Evan, because watching Scotty Barnes just routinely go through you and then flex his muscles, like at some point, are you going to do something about it? Like, is there any level of humiliation here for this team? That they got pushed around like that, and everybody in the country is calling them soft again another year. Like, I kind of want to see these guys respond to it. Shouldn't have taken to Game 5. Should have happened already. Should have happened after Game 3. To have their crowd just go nuts every time. So I would like to see them play with a little bit more pride. And then the lackadaisical stuff from Harden and Donovan. Like, come on, your season's on the line. Like, start acting like it. Stop acting like eventually they'll come back to the pack and we'll just win the series. Well, you were up 8 with 4 minutes to go. You didn't do your job. That wasn't even about the Raptors in the final minutes of that game. That was about you.
That was you.
All you had to do was play smart and you win the game.
Exactly right. And I'm not hearing, like, the calls have been different. The pensive mood of the fans have been different. Like, you're supposed to be playing for something bigger here. You're in a 2-2 series. You're in a dogfight. And we're going to find out tonight. Like, there's no reason for me to come in here screaming and yelling tomorrow. I can't guarantee anything. If they don't win this game, maybe I will end up screaming and yelling. But I think there comes to a point where it's like, well, what's the point of yelling at them? What, if they're not going to do it, we'll find. Like, we do this during Brown season. What's the point of me getting all mad? What's the point of me blowing my stack? I did that this last year. We reached my point where I said I was no longer going to blow my stack, and I didn't, because they are who they are, and anything after that's just going to be performative. So if I come in tomorrow and I start screaming and yelling, I might be frustrated. There might be a time where I actually am frustrated. We'll see how tonight goes. But if they lose this basketball game, it's like, yeah, okay, I'm accepting who you are, and who you are might end up being a bunch of front runners, and I can't deal with it. What?
I don't believe you. I don't believe the guy that just said they you won't say the word guarantee, but you guaranteed it.
But I'm not putting my stack. I'm not staking.
Guarantee it,
I'm not giving you any basketball
just
reasons.
You didn't say the word. You said they're not
but
losing.
I'm not staking.
So if they lose tonight, you're going to come in here pissed off.
No. Well, I'll get pissed because you guys are yelling at me to get pissed off, and now you're challenging my manhood, and I'm going to go after you for it. But I'm not. You notice I'm saying they're winning. Why are they winning? Because they can't lose. I'm not giving you any basketball reasons other than they're the better team. I'm not staking my reputation on it. That's not happening. I'm just looking at you going, you're the highest paid roster in the NBA. We've made all these moves, not to get to the middle, not to get to the first round, but to get to the Eastern Conference Finals, at least against a team like the Boston Celtics, at least. And if you don't do it, what's the point of me getting so damn upset with you for? We'll just make changes. That's all we'll do. So there's no point of me getting mad. I don't need to rah you up. That's another thing that I have a problem with. I'll get to that here in 5 minutes. Because I want to ask you guys something. Think about this for a moment. How do you treat a guy you don't trust? I got to talk to the men out there. And
breaking sports news. Your teams, your station.
They ain't losing. There's no way. No way. You're the better basketball team. You got better pros on your team. Toronto may be there someday. I'm not ripping on Toronto and saying they're bad. I'm not doing that. I got a lot of respect for the Raptors. Got a lot of respect for the coach.
Toronto's got nobody that can really create a shot from the perimeter. Like, these guys are just pounding you, going right at you.
Cavs ain't losing this series. They're not losing tonight.
I'm not guaranteeing it.
I'm not guaranteeing it. I'm not going to be like Pony and say stupid things. They're trying to say stupid things. I'm just I'm holding him to a standard. Is it stupid to say that the better team's going to win? It's stupid to say the better team's going to win? How big of a Cavs fan are you?
It's stupid to say that. It's stupid to say I'm not guaranteeing it and then say this.
They ain't losing tonight. Because they're not losing. There's no way. I'm just not going to guarantee it. I'm holding them to a standard. I want to know, is there a difference in what I said and guaranteeing
lose tonight?
No.
On paper, they won't lose tonight. But you can't say you're not guaranteeing it and then continue to say
they ain't losing tonight. They ain't losing tonight.
That's a guarantee.
That's not a guarantee.
Yes, it is.
It's only a guarantee if I guarantee it.
That's how it works.
Is that how it works, Lima?
Yeah. It is.
I asked Lima, not you.
His opinion.
No, you need his opinion.
No, you don't, because that's how it works. If you definitively say something,
get John on.
That's a guarantee.
Oh,
get
John
stupid.
I want John on. John. John.
I've got his mic down.
Put his mic on. Put the kid's mic on. John.
Yeah.
All right. I said they're not losing tonight. I didn't guarantee it. I did not say it's a guarantee. Is it a guarantee?
If you didn't say the word guarantee, then you didn't guarantee anything.
Bingo.
Well, he's done for the day.
I'm not George Zimmer. I'm not
Owen's warehouse. Owen just guaranteed to cut your mic.
I guarantee that you're guaranteeing that they win.
They ain't losing tonight. There's no way. Lima, in your estimation, was that a guarantee?
I thought you implied a guarantee.
No.
You did not say it, but you implied it.
I'm a very literal person.
Then
if I
I'll
meant
throw
it,
out the hottest word on the station. You're a coward.
Well, Brady Bunch did a whole episode on...
If you're going to say all that and then not say guarantee, that's cowardly.
I don't need to guarantee. I'm not going to stake my personal reputation on a team that I don't trust.
Oh, believe
That's
me,
what I was going to go with
If they lose
today.
this game tomorrow night, you're going to hear this.
No. They ain't losing it.
There's
no way.
3 minutes.
I was wrong, but I'm not putting my name next to theirs. Because let me explain this. And I understand this sounds like bickering to everybody here, but there is a point to this, and I'm glad you brought me to it. Is I am not putting my name next to him because, again, I asked you guys during the break, how do you treat a man you don't trust? How do you treat a man you don't trust?
I just cut him out of my life, but...
How do you treat a man you don't trust, Tone?
I like to enable people, so...
Yeah. Do you have to make everything so effing difficult? Do you have to make everything so tough on me?
You don't get the title Slippery Wizard for nothing, Ken.
You treat anybody you don't trust at arm's length. You might have hope for them, but they're there. They're not here. They're not here. I trust Keith. Keith's here. I trust Owen. Owen's here. Lima, oddly enough, and maybe this is my own stupidity, I trust him. So Lima's here. I got them all in headlocks. They're all with me. John might get to that level someday, just not yet. He's a good young man. He's a good egg, hard worker. The Cavs, they're not here. They're not in my bosom.
Why are you being so staunch on they're going to win?
Because they should win, because they're a good team. They're better than the Raptors.
All right, come on. What you said.
Get it done. Raptors, they need to win, okay? They should win.
Yes.
But I am not going to put my name next to them if they fail. I don't trust them. I don't trust them. I'm just telling everybody how it should be because they know how it should be. I'm not going to insult people's intelligence. No, I guarantee they're going to. No, that doesn't make anybody feel any better. Me saying guarantee, I've guaranteed other things that I've ended up being wrong. So I just guarantee garbage. I'm not going to throw it out there for things I don't appreciate, things I don't believe. I'm not going to do it. If I believed wholeheartedly in them, I would guarantee it. I won't guarantee this. No, it's on them. They're not going to lose because they can't lose. Because if they do lose, there is going to be sincere hell to pay, and this run, whatever this is over. And the fans, it's not even a warning. This isn't a threat to fans. Help me on this, please. I'm just over here having a diatribe by myself.
Provided the benefit of new information, and this is the new information I have.
This will wake them up. There's guys, I'm going to guarantee a victory. They ain't losing tonight. No, that is Hey, we're in the age of AI. That's doctored.
That is not doctored. That is not AI.
Hey! This will wake them up. There's guys.
Sounded
I'm going
clean
to
to
guarantee a victory. They ain't losing it.
You can yell at him all you want. I'll keep playing the words that you said on the show, Ken. You don't need to be in here anymore.
I didn't say
Take the next 9 minutes off.
I didn't say it.
Have fun at the house preparing for your guarantee.
I didn't say it. What?
Anthony, what do you got to say?
Is it too much to ask for Donovan Mitchell tonight? 57 points.
What?
51 points, 50 points, 48, 45, 44, 43, 39, 39. These are playoff performances.
You know what, Anthony?
From him?
Would that be too hard to ask?
Because they're just words and they mean nothing. Not only is it not too much to ask, I guarantee it.
There he is.
If I won't be happy if we got to get 57 points out of Donovan to beat the Toronto
You know why
Raptors.
I'd be happy? Because it'd be a win. That's why I'd be happy.
I mean, yeah, I guess I'd be happy, but I wouldn't be feeling that great. It's the effing Raptors, guys. Come on, man. I don't mean to say that too much, but it's the Raptors. Now I'm begging them to win. Yeah, that sounds like a guarantee. I'm not putting my name next to them. No.
Well, they have to win now. You need to beg them to win.
Now you got Justin Rowan texting me here. This is, he's listening up in Winnipeg. It's still cold up there.
Ask him if it means that you guaranteed it.
Donovan Mitchell, last 3 games in that Orlando Magic series, and what could we have here? 2 or 3 games against in this series against Toronto. He went 28, 50, 39.
What's the name of his podcast, Rowan's podcast? Chase Down. I kept wanting to say Road Tripping. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm sorry, Justin. I'm in a shoot.
Tripping.
I do listen to you. Well done. I do listen to you and Carter. I'm sorry. Unpaid testimonial. They're going to win. I'm just not going to guarantee it. I'm not putting my name next to it because I don't trust them. I'm not getting their stink on me because they've done nothing that I expect them to do this year. That's why I was yelling at you guys earlier over Nick guaranteeing a sweep after he's been calling them out all year, and you saying you're not going to watch Game 6 if they lose tonight, and then calling anybody who dared doubt the Cavs idiots and non-ball knowers. Do you understand? I'm not roping myself into saying something stupid because of the Cleveland Cavaliers. That ain't going to happen. They will win because they need to win, and they should win because they're the better team. But that is nothing. That is no Ken Carman guarantee. Do not put my name next to them. No. I love them. I want them to win. I'm going to be over here watching them. I'm not with them. No. They ain't losing tonight. Evan Mobley needs to step in and step up and show out, in the words of Gerard. They ain't losing tonight.
This is the end of my silly little rap. Thank you for paying attention.
All right. Go.